The Emperor has been expecting you.
Hi everyone and welcome to 1/6 Figure Focus, and you're very welcome to episode number 18 of the Hope Show. We have a very exciting show planned for you today, and it's been an extremely busy week on all fronts, because when you get a week when they drop something like this, followed by something like this, followed by something like this, followed by something like this, followed with this, and this, and this, and this. Like it's times like this, the one thing that actually comes to mind to me, the one thing that just seemed to just call out to me and pop into my mind. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but this is the type of thing that I think of when I see this.
The Lord tells me he can get me out of this mess, but he's pretty sure you're fucked.
Am I wrong, folks?
Yeah.
For the cherry picking collectors like myself, I might be able to manage this storm. I've had a chat with God. I hope you have too, and your wallets and stuff like that. Focus. How are we doing, folks? I said focus. Folks, yeah. I meant to say. How are we doing?
All good.
All good.
Good. All good.
Good. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Pretty good.
It's a nice big panel. So we got Trevor in top middle. We got Ian H and Silver Fox. We got Phil, the Empire Strikes Collector, Joey, Dan and Carmen, and Jose. It is Jose's second time on the channel, and it's your second time as well, Joey. Would that be correct?
Yes.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Wallet safe, folks?
No. At least not for Spider-Man.
Yeah, it's been a busy week. It's been a very busy week, but you just have to laugh it off, I suppose. I had a lot of fun with that guy today. There was a lot of clipping. All right, look, we got a massive show for you planned today. So if you are watching, wherever you're watching from, you might let us know in the chat. There's the drops from Hot Toys are one thing. You had the announcements, you had the releases. We're going to talk about INART. And of course then we're going to talk about our main topic, which is music that matters. Going to trust the chat really quickly, folks. Massive thank you for being here. We got good old Spotchka, we got Uncard Reviews, who was here very early. We got Keith as well, Boba Fettuccini channel member, shout out to you. We got Thalia all the way from Germany. We have got, what else we have here? We have the 12-inch Moose Stream, Michael, channel member, and I believe was at Oxcon. I was very jealous. Hope you enjoyed yourself, my friend. We have Mark Mitchell. I was speaking to Mark Mitchell on Instagram today, I believe. And we have X-Men Supreme as well. Thank you very much for being here. Strong supporter of the channel. We got Mike Fayala, the man with the exclamation marks. Michael, 12-inch Move Stream, absolutely calling me out and 100% right. I have no excuses. I just manage my time poorly. We got good old Spotchka again there. Great to see good old Spotchka there in the chat. Daniel, I believe his name is. Daniel, and Evil Sneaker is Steve. Yeah. Do I have that right, Joe?
Yeah.
I like being. I don't like messing people's names up. I try my best. We got Philip the Fool, channel member as well. We got Chudy all the way from Texas. We got Neaterific, another channel member as well. Thank you very much. Really appreciate the support and being here. And we're kind of getting up. I think I have most people there. Obviously, Keith the 0065. Ian warming up the crowd. So is Phil. And we got Keith, the 6-scale Padawan, soon to be my friend in a 501st. We are in the process. We're in the process of signing our lives away to the Empire. Dirk Diggler's stunt double reminds me all the time that I need to go back and watch Boogie Nights. And of course, we got Collector Joey warming up the crowd as well. Right, folks, we're going to get some housekeeping out of the way. Massive thank you to Ian, obviously, who's on the panel here, for his generosity in donating a brand new inbox Civil War Winter Soldier that will be given away when we hit 3k. All you got to do is be subscribed and be present on the live stream, which we will give you plenty of notice for. Shout out to the members. First of all, we're going to start off with the troopers. We got Jim Collector, we got Lancelot's Nerd Corner, Neaterific, Mugwump, Stephen Rinks, Mike L, we got Payton23, Chuli, and Bendu Windu, and also Ryan Smith. Now for the commanders, I think, because we're all about the theme tunes here today, I have planned something for the commanders, especially for you, just so I can really show my love and appreciation for the support In fairness,
Fuck's
I
sake.
presume that soundtrack is on everyone's list, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
100%.
Maybe just me. Okay. I'll delete that later. New videos live on the channel. Mark III Collection Tour. By the way, massive shout out to everyone who has watched, supported, liked, subscribed, anything. Especially to the gentlemen who are on the channel, joining me today on the panel, and also joining me. Who joined me last week. I really thoroughly enjoyed last week's live stream, especially that it just preceded this tour, and the reaction seems to be quite good. And yeah, it's one I'm very happy with. If you haven't checked it out, maybe consider it. Flying through all these are my thoughts on all the announcements. You're probably going to get my live take here today, as well as everyone else in the panel, and of course INART Superman, which we will be speaking about as well. This is the most packed show sheet I think I've ever had. We're going to talk about new, in, out. We're going to get straight into a spoilers warning from Ahsoka. We're going to talk about the Green Goblin, Classic Iron Man. We're going to talk about Bully, Spider-Punk, Prowler, Artisan, Scarlet Witch, INART Superman, and finally, music that matters. So, people, gentlemen of the channel, who wants to jump in here? Anything new, anything out, anything sold, anything arriving today, folks? Just chime in.
I got the quarter scale Mark IV. I really love that thing. And
Right.
yeah, I love that one. And at OxCon, I was there at OxCon, and I picked this thing up right here. I'm gonna do a review a little later, but right there, the Mark II. Yeah.
All right. Is
I'm
that diecast, or did they ever do that in diecast?
You know what? I don't know, but this thing is the heaviest Hot Toys box I think I have so far. It is. I don't even know what's in it. I never looked at reviews or anything.
I hope it's a Mark II.
Yeah, right. No, I know the Mark II's in it, but I don't know if there's a dioramas. If it's that heavy, like it's
Is
crazy.
it ticking?
Shoot, I hope not. But
You were hanging out with those collecting weekly boys. You never know. So you were at OxCon, yeah?
Yeah.
I saw you in the photo show, yourself.
Yeah. I gotta meet Austin, Philip the Fool, good old Spotchka. Philip the Fool was awesome. Who else? 12-inch Moose Stream was there as well. Loved meeting him. Everybody was just it was just really cool. Everybody was just amazing.
Hey, Mike.
Mike.
Good stuff. Yeah, that's excellent. So you picked up the Mark II at OxCon, and what else did you say you picked up something else with the Mark IV quarter scale?
Yeah. I didn't get that there, but that just came in like right before I went. But I did trade in like 3 Funko Pops for this Mark II, for the Mark II, and it was like 160 off of 300. It was originally 300, then the 3 pops were like 100 and something, so it was down to like 150, and then they had an extra 5% off, so in total I paid 135 for it, so it wasn't bad.
Nice. Yeah. And considering it's heavy, I don't know if it's diecast. I think it actually is, so like it's that heavy.
It didn't say it on the box, but hopefully.
Good stuff. Did the Mark IV quarter scale, did you go with the gantry, or
no? I just got the Iron Man. Yeah,
that gantry, the size of it's just
like
the 6 scale gantry is big enough, but that I just imagine the size. Anyone else, folks? Ending in out?
Just got Cad Bane in from.
I don't like the way you just said you just got Cad Bane. That figure is fantastic. Absolutely.
Well, I mean, I literally just got. I mean, like literally.
Oh, you literally. Oh, you're time wise.
Minutes ago. A little late from I won't say who, but not the one you're thinking of, but
yeah, we've got a pretty packed show sheet. We can't be going off on tangents about the Devil's Workshop. Come on.
No. Mike, there's an octopus below the camera there. I just want to make sure you know that there's a tentacle.
It's a Purgle tail, actually.
I see. Oh, light speed. Mike, how are you? Anything?
Doing great.
Anything arrive last week?
Yeah, finally got the Bat Pod, which I just sent back because it was broken.
No.
It's a bit of a bummer, but Sideshow is great. They're going to send out a replacement, so that's cool. And I finally got the Mark 85. And man, holding a diecast 6 scale figure, I just didn't get it before, But when you finally open it and hold it in your hands, I know this sounds cheesy and cliche and stuff, but in person, it's well worth it.
I get it. Yeah, I get it. And if there's like Hot Toys do a lot of things right, but my God, they kind of nail their diecast Iron Man.
It's beautiful, man.
Yeah. Good stuff. Anyone else?
I got in Kate Bishop
She's
Oh,
right
right.
over there.
cool.
Yeah, got kick bishop in. Kind of similar with Sideshow. I had to contact them because on one of her hair strands, it looked like she had like glue. It was kind of like wet looking when you
no.
photographed it. But they were like right away. I sent them pictures and they were like, "Okay, sending you one right now." And I was like, "Okay, I got it in 24 hours. I had a new one." So. I'm probably gonna use the other head sculpt with the kind of the glue. I'm gonna send it over to Tina, who you might know is the one known in the community for doing rooting. So I'm gonna send it to her to do the hair to make it look a little bit more realistic, because the plastic hair is kind of one of the things that a lot of people complained about. In person, it looks better, but if I root it, I think it'll bring it to another level for sure.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but good things about Tina. Does anyone on the panel have something rooted by her?
I've got Bo-Katan. She's going to do the Bo-Katan, so.
Oh, and has she, as in she's done it already and sent it back to you, or?
No. She's because I asked her about 6 months ago, and she's like stopped orders now, isn't she? Because she's so busy.
Her list is long.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
so
sure
she's
she's just
gonna
playing.
do it.
I'm sure she's just playing hard to get down. You keep. asking.
No.
Yeah, I'll keep an eye. No. I've got to send it to her in next month. She said she'll do it for us, so
Yeah,
that's good.
Tina's gonna
And
do.
then-
Go ahead, Dan.
No, go on, dude.
No, I was just gonna say she's gonna do Kate Bishop, but she's not gonna do it until she gets through that list. So she's got
Yeah, I
a
know,
huge
it's
list
crazy.
of inquiries. So I'm on the list, but she told me it won't be probably until sometime next year. So, so it's gonna be a while.
Has anyone
but it's
noticed
okay.
that it looks like Ming Na Wen is on our panel?
Oh yeah,
Like right in between Mike and Jose. So what did you get new in? A new gut section. You know, she's
make
got like
that
a
happen.
mechanical thing. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm sure we can just reach out to her. Her people talk to my people, and they will reject my people. So, so anyone else? There's a few hauls coming in. Dan,
I've got Peacemaker and Robocop this week.
oh nice, and
So,
that
yeah.
they're too nice. Not they're not like. They're not Star Wars. They're DC, but they're not Star Wars or Marvel really. So it's
It's been a lovely change actually, because I'm
yeah, absolutely.
80% Star Wars, and like we've spoke before, I've sort of gone like DC a little bit, and then a bit more like classic films and my favourite sort of what I grew up with, all horror, just a bit of miscellaneous. But The Peacemaker was my favourite TV show of last year, and it's such a good figure. It just pops on the shelf. It's got so much charisma.
Yeah, Joao was going to hook me up with one of those.
Yeah, it's a really, really good figure, guys. It's one of those if you're thinking about, and I've got a feeling it will be a sleeper as well. I can't imagine they did loads. I can imagine it.
I can't look at it and not think of Wigwam. That song.
Yeah.
That's just what I was going to say.
Yeah.
It was the only
So
intro
it's-
I don't skip. I watch it
No,
every single time.
exactly. I know.
Do you know what I'm thinking about doing?
It's pretty good.
Brandon Salad, God bless him, he is an absolute talent when it comes to photography, and he took this photo. He took multiple photos of Miles from the first Into the Spider-Verse movie with those a 6-scale ghetto blaster from the same company that make the arcade games.
Oh right, yeah.
And I can't remember. Mafia has a bunch of them. Like they look the business. But I've been looking for an excuse to get New Wave. I've been looking for an excuse to buy one of those ghetto blasters, and I just think like putting that down in front of the Peacemaker when he's posed as if he's, because you can Bluetooth it and put on Wigwam and you can look like he's posing. But yeah, man.
I think if you're thinking about getting Peacemaker, get it. If you can pick it up, get it, because it's it's such an. It's probably at the moment it's my figure of the year. So
yeah. We have Gerrans just subscribed. Yeah, thanks very much. Appreciate it. Hope I'm pronouncing that name right. Yeah, New Wave's Toys, Keith, you're absolutely right. Yeah, I kind of told you that I've got one on the way. Joao, let's just say he lost the bet. Like, but his Big Brother's picking one up for me, which is pretty cool. So, anyone else? Anything new in out?
I've got the Technical 2.0 Batman coming Thursday with a bit of luck.
Oh, is it? It's coming on Thursday.
Should arrive
This
Thursday.
is the 2.0, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Yep,
I
and
have. Go on.
Black Panther, but this week some of you guys already seen. This is my standout figure, the custom Rovenix Studios Batman.
Yeah, I love that.
That's great.
Dark Knight Returns. This is honestly
yeah.
when you see it in hand, the detail on the battle damage is spectacular. This is something else. So
Fantastic
that's on my
graphic
comic
novel as
book
well.
shelf.
Yeah. It's,
That's a fabric suit on that, right? With tears in it and stuff.
Yeah.
Battle damage.
Yeah.
Really cool looking.
good stuff. I didn't pick up anything new. Well, I suppose it's not new, but I got to display it properly, and I added another floating shelf that wasn't in that collection tour on Monday. So I'll just show you how it turned out. I just added in one more floating shelf. So yeah, so I am. This is one of those. Can you still hear me when I'm narrating over this? Or
Yeah.
all right, yeah. So like, this is a figure that I knew I'd like.
Yeah.
But just when it's all set up in front, and I do find I catch myself looking at it a good bit with all the wiring and the metal and stuff like that, and even like the Mark II faceplate and the dummy and everything like that. And I like the way it fills the space available on that floating shelf. Like, it doesn't look like lost in the middle of it, and it doesn't look like it's coming out over the side. It's a very nice size. Yeah, it's just hung that up there during the week, so that's one more little bit of display space. You got to start thinking vertically, don't we? Like I do anyway.
Hopefully that one doesn't fall on you.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, there's always a risk. There's always a risk. I find when I use stands, that's the problem. Like, you know, so yeah. Now look, it's worth it for the display. Like, it's a risk I'm willing to take. Like, you know, so. Okay, so I suppose, look, I'm going to put up the spoiler warning now. I would advise everyone to read the disclaimer down the bottom. There's a lot of stuff that was announced this week, so there will be plenty of FOMO and hype and potential loss of funds and spouse if you listen to us. So, all right. So what we're going to do, we're going to go to what do I have this? All right, we got to go up and we got to talk about, we're going to put a spoiler warnings up here. So add this back. I'm going to change the banner. So just if you're watching now and you haven't seen episode 6 of Ahsoka, we're going to talk about it for, I don't know, in around 15 minutes max, maybe 20, you know. So it's we're going to talk about it now. So if you want to come back later, if you're watching in the replay, maybe fast forward 15 minutes, I will take the spoiler warning down. You've been warned. Okay. So Space Whales.
Spaceman.
You love them now, right?
No.
Come on, Shane.
I gotta say, I thought there was some stunning there has been some stunning cinematography in the whole series. I don't think anyone can deny that. You know, whether it's the planet shots about spaceships coming into the planet's atmosphere, or this shot does look stunning, or whether it's the backlit Anakin or Vader shots or whatever. I thought this looked pretty stunning. You know, I'm still not sold in Space Whales, but anyone want to chime in here and give us your thoughts? Like, there's a lot of us on the panel, so like, if you don't, that's okay, and if you do, maybe just like give us your overall thoughts of episode 6.
I just want to say that looks like excellent desktop wallpaper right there, doesn't it?
That's
Looks pretty awesome.
That does look cool.
Yeah.
Great visual, like showing hyperspace in a different way because it's intergalactic. Really cool idea. You know, they're not passing through stars, so how do you show that, or how do you describe that? I thought this was really cool.
It's kind of like the Bifrost in a way, wasn't it, with the colors?
Oh yeah. Are we giving this one a rating, Shane?
Oh, you can do what you want, man. There's no rules, man. You can give it a rating. Or I know Ian has his protractor out, and
that's what I'm waiting for. So.
He's doing calculations involving pi and you know, he's
the scientific
Pythagoras
calculator out.
So, yeah. So do you want? Well, I'll flick through a few of the images. So we obviously had the Space Whales, and they're doing their intergalactic travel.
Oh,
you got the Night Sisters.
This was cool.
Okay. This was like
crazy.
Yeah,
that was the scene. For
this
me.
was, this was awesome. I wasn't sure how I felt about these, but the more I see these, the more I like them. Are these like reanimated? Are these like dead that are now alive?
It seems like it, yeah.
Magic, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kind of like
Lord
of the Rings, the Return of the King. They've got the ghosts back to life, but these are actually reanimated corpses, or more like Multiverse of Madness.
Maroc.
And did
Yeah,
Trooper.
similar
Yeah.
to him.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay.
Howard Chan was like rubbing his hands when he saw this scene.
Oh, baby.
Yeah,
Definitely.
he was.
He's
Oh,
like,
exactly.
yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Look at all of them here. There's so many different ones. They could do like a 2-pack.
Yeah.
You know,
I love the
it's
use
gonna
of the
be-
gold though to piece the armor back together. Like,
Yeah.
I
And
just
that-
think
oh,
this is
man.
kind of funny, lads. I just
it was off-putting.
I think it'll look great on a shelf though.
It looked cool.
Yeah,
great.
it is cool.
Next to Thrawn.
yeah, I can't tell. I maybe it'll grow on me. Like, I'm not saying I don't like it. I literally don't know if this is cool or not. Like, I'm looking at it. I'm kind of going, yeah, you're not that scary. I'm not going to take you seriously. But then again, he might just mess someone up in the next episode. I'll be like, yeah, we should definitely take him seriously.
Also, like a lot of the stuff, imagery was, pulled from classical image, and so I remember seeing a video that said that is a Roman death mask, and I googled it, and it's exactly the same as a Roman death mask. So
Sure, isn't it like the
Like
similar
gladiatorial.
mask to the gladiators?
And
Remember
that
in
as well.
Sorry, Gladiator.
Mhm.
Yeah. And I suppose that guy was scary because he was just killing people. So I presume this guy, we haven't seen him in action yet. So yeah, I gotta say, I liked all the scenes with Thrawn. His kind of, I'm not sure, is it an incomplete Star Destroyer or I'm not sure if the gold bits are they
damaged. It was damaged. And
damaged? Yeah,
damaged.
yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
The last
I loved all that. Thrawn scenes were good. Just it did feel scary. Like
Having his voice, he's
Like-
got such a great voice. I mean, yeah, dad bod, but he's listen, he's been away for a while. Like it's not a lot of work.
He's
Is
supposed
you
to be
know, like, what's the
70, isn't
story?
he? He's supposed to be 70 now. That's how old he
Yeah.
is. So
Is he? Yeah, I thought he was in
Yeah.
the 60s or something like that. Yep.
Well, Lars
Will
is in
was pretty
his,
good still. Yeah.
Yeah.
For that. So,
Lars is younger, but the character is supposed to be about 70.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, is he supposed? Okay, I haven't read Heir to the Empire. But the more I hear about it, the more I want to. But is he supposed to be like, jacked or something, or is he supposed to be like big into his fitness or what? Like, because I heard a lot of people body shaming him a bit. Like, I mean, if I'm 70 and I'm in the same shape as him, I'd be all right. I'd be happy enough. You know what I mean?
That was a younger
So, like,
Thrawn too, I think. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I think he was
Okay,
always
okay.
supposed to be pretty fit, and he was tall.
Yeah.
So.
Gotcha. I gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah, he's the kind of guy
So,
who would like meditate, take care of himself, and I think that's why people felt like it didn't fit his character too much. But I mean, if the Chiss are supposed to age at the same rate as human beings, yeah, I'd give him a break for being 70, right?
Yeah.
I guess they're eating well on this planet. I don't know what they're eating, but maybe some wolves, dogs.
I'd say they could be eating some of those turtles, man.
Oh, yeah.
Turtle soup.
It's possible.
Crabs.
Yeah.
I thought this was visually a superb episode, wasn't it? Really.
Yeah.
It was. It was. I was just blown away by. Like the Night Sisters, all the stuff with Thrawn, but even on the planet was quite cool. I mean, I didn't mind the turtle sort of things. There was one thing that really annoyed me with Sabine, where she told the wolf thing to go away.
So yeah.
Like she was like playing a game.
Yeah,
with
it
the
has
wolf
all
thing.
your
It was really
equipment
weird.
on
I
it.
was like, hang on, you need that wolf thing to get around the planet. It was really.
You don't know where you're going. You don't know
Yeah.
what kind of
Yeah.
terrain you're gonna hit, and like, let me just get rid of my mount. It felt like just a thing to just have like a cute little moment between the two of them or whatever.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I thought
Yeah,
that
it
was
was good.
enough to do that when she met the crab people, like to have him like kind of growling or whatever, doing like a dog-like thing with that, and that was enough cute interaction with that thing. I didn't need any more than that. Really.
Thing is, there was more of a relationship between her and the dog than there was between her and Ahsoka.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then almost her and Ezra at the end. That was
Yeah.
the biggest
Yeah, yeah,
letdown for me. Sabine
Yeah.
didn't suffer enough on the journey.
Yeah.
And
Nope.
she didn't struggle at all. And then she met up with him. I mean, like I said, I think I told you guys this. I'd be more excited to meet you guys than it. And I've never met you before, but I'd run up and give you
I
a hug.
should hope so.
I'd be,
you know?
I'd be after 10 years of like hanging out with crab people. I'd be dry humping you guys if it doesn't matter who you are.
Right. That's what I mean.
And this will be Trevor's final appearance in the whole show.
But I think we should judge the next episode really, because it always ends on like thing. I think the next episode with the Ezra situation, all that, I think it'd be good to see how this character comes out, because it was just a short, But I think
It was very brief
great.
for sure.
They could have
There's
really
so many
built
figures,
that up.
guys. There's so many figures coming.
Oh, so many figures. Yeah. I mean, I just didn't like how abrupt that was, like how quick that was, and the fact that he kind of came around a building and stood there and said, "Hey, I figured you'd find me." It's like,
I mean, that's Ezra.
I'd be
though.
jumping up and down, and come on. I guess it's Ezra.
I mean,
Yeah, like you can't
that's how
play
he
hard
is,
to get.
though.
You can't play hard to get when you've crossed galaxies at light speed, and then be like, stop! I'm just waiting for mate. Like you can't be hard to get then, really. Like, there should have been a hug or something, or I don't know. Like it, I look at this and I see one thing I do like about Sabine. They're not just Mary Sooner. They're not just giving her the Force straight away. Whether she ends up being a Force wielder or not. I was a bit worried when the stone wall started to shake. I was like, oh, here we go. She's Yoda. But then I thought it was clever because they tricked the audience into thinking that's where it was going. And she's failed a lot now. She failed against Sabine. Well, she should be dead. I'm just going to put a pin in that. But a pin would probably do more damage than the lightsaber. So she should be dead. But she was trying and failing to use the Force to move the cup. She was trying and failing to get herself out of prison. I like that transition, the way the shaking of that prison was the Thrawn's ship. I thought that was pretty damn cool. Some beautiful, stunning imagery and cinematography involving Thrawn and his his army of these reanimated troopers. The troopers look good. I think that Enoch would probably grow on me. And then you have all that stunning stuff. But then she just like silly things like the fight with the kind of weird ninja things.
Yeah,
I felt that was, we haven't had a fight in a while. We need to have, will we have a fight with her? Yeah, we'll make her fight something.
Yeah.
I thought that was so awful. I thought it was boring. I thought it was like, there was no like impact to the shots. I didn't think the choreography was good. I was just like, this is just, do you know what it reminded me of? The Boba Fett ninjas when he had his asthma attack.
Yeah.
Do you remember on episode 1 of Boba Fett? Yeah, see, there's some really strong parts, and then there's other
like
parts.
Tusken Raiders too. Like they just feel a little too adjacent to. I really want to see have an extra set of arms or something, like just something more alien. They're on another galaxy, like completely. The crab people were good, but like the samurai guys, I mean, they're like just humanoids again. I don't know. I know there's a budget, and you got to have some people in costumes and stuff, but I think they could do it.
I think it's what you were saying, Trevor. That fight didn't need to happen. I thought it was very forced. Yeah, we need to show that she's a badass. Well, they definitely showed she was a badass in episode 4 because I thought she was awesome in episode 4. I thought that was really, really good. But instead of putting in that forced fight with these ninjas or whatever they are, maybe have her struggling, like you said, running out of water, wandering around through this planet. Nearly getting eaten by something or whatever.
But then you get the audience members that are like, oh, well, that's boring. I don't want to just be watching her, drinking water or looking for somewhere to eat or, there's like, I need action. You'll get somebody that'll be like, oh, I need an action scene. So they throw in these guys to kind of show there's threats out there that there's actually people out there that might prevent her from finding Ezra. So
but okay, they set that up and then they broke her navigator, and it's like, okay, maybe that was a set to now she's really lost and she can't find her way around. So now it's going to take her a while. Nope, a couple of hours.
That's what I was thinking. So
to go in the right direction.
I was thinking. So Thrawn made it sound like it was going to take forever to find him, or if he's even alive. And then a couple hours later, she found him. So I was like, what?
A few miles away.
And also,
I mean, but how many people are on this planet though? I mean,
the one person on the planet she found.
The needle in the haystack.
I don't know.
Also, the turtle people have their own personal disguise. That's fine. But then they also have like a little mini portable city that from any of these mountaintops or wherever you could see. So it's not like they're really hidden at all. So I'm curious. I think Dan might have said this earlier, or Ian. We're really going to know more in the next episode. But judging it on this one, it just felt a little too easy.
Yeah. I mean, I know they gotta move things along, but it's like I'd almost rather have this drawn out a little bit more. The reunion with Ezra. As much as I want to see Ezra, as much as I want to see Thrawn, I would have hated it, I guess, if Thrawn had been shown up in the last 2 minutes of the final episode, and you got to wait how many years now because of the writer's strike and everything to see him again. But at least with Ezra, like just make it kind of a last minute thing, and then we'll get a little bit more. But
I think they came with to some sort of an agreement, did they? The SAG-AFTRA and all that, like. I know. I just saw
closing in on something. Yeah.
Mark Hamill just put something up. I read it in passing. It could be fake news. I don't know, but he's usually pretty like he's not. I don't think it was a joke or anything.
I saw that today too.
Yeah. So really quick. I'm just going to address some of these chats here. So they were cannibalizing the troopers.
I mean, maybe.
We've got
the Donner Party 501st. Right there.
Yeah. We have got a super chat. We got a super chat from X-Man Supreme, so thank you very much. Hot Toys about to go 20 deep on a sofa figures and still no Wong. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it would appear that way. Thank you very much, Dave X-Man Supreme. I do appreciate the $5 super chat. Thank you, sir. Channel member as well. Nothing beats the Clone Wars flashback scene. Okay, we got. Are you 501st TK Magic Shop? There is a 501st on the panel. Dan is an official 501st.
Yeah, he's on my channel all the time. He is.
He's 501st, yeah.
I think he's 501st or a trooper, so yeah.
Gotcha. Because Dan on our panel.
Yeah.
Dan's 501st on the panel. He's having issues with his signal. I'm going to keep trying adding him in. And I believe TK Magic Shop, they commented on the collection tour video and just asked that. So I'm in the process. I'm not 501st yet. Not a fan of gold accent night troopers. And Andre says all these Disney Star Wars have no business being 8 to 10 episodes. Every story is stretched to breaking point apart from Andor. I gotta agree, I loved Andor. But I would still say Mandalorian season 1 and 2 were 8 to 10 episodes. There was plenty of them. That Luke scene, just top of my head. I mean, how could you not consider that an 8 to 10? But maybe you're including that. I'm not sure. Let us know. And yes, I was ECG. Sorry, I have no idea what that is. I probably should, but please let me know. Or sorry, Empire City Garrett. Thank you. I appreciate that. Cool. That's pretty cool. And Andor is lit. You're absolutely right. So, can we just get the stars and then we'll move on because we got a lot to get through. So, Trevor?
I'd give it a... You see, I like seeing Ezra. I like seeing Thrawn, so I'm going to give it a 4 because of that. It's just barely a 4. It's kind of a B- for me.
All right, Ian?
A 4.1, and I take all 0.9.
Where does the 0.1 come from?
For Sabine.
He's explaining it.
Sorry. Go on.
4.1. I'm only doing it to wind you up.
I know you are. It's working. Yeah. 4.1. Yeah. Do you want to justify where the 0.1 comes from?
For me, like I totally agree with Trevor. I think Finding Ezra should have been a bit more effort, and it should have been cast throughout to the end of the season, almost for me. And it wasn't just finding him in 2 hours. So he's been under Thrawn's nose all this time. I mean, within 2 hours, you drop yourself onto a new massive planet. Come on. So that aside, I really enjoyed it, and what I really like, I want more of the Night Sisters, and I want that dark element to come through in it. That's what's got me interested. So 4.1, and the fact of the engagement with Ezra and Sabine's kind of petulance irritated me a little bit, so all points come off for Sabine. So 4.1.
Okay. Yep. Right, 4.1. You're one of a kind, Ian. Collector Joy.
Yes. For someone that hasn't seen Clone Wars or Rebels, yeah, 3.5. It was okay. Just, I'm pretty sure if I watched those shows, it'd be a little bit higher, honestly. But yeah, that's fine.
Probably definitely would be higher.
Yeah.
Okay, so Phil?
I'm going to take Ian's 4.1 and I'm going to raise him 0.1 and give it 4.2.
Okay.
Well done, Phil.
Right. Do you have like a highlight, maybe a reason you're taking off the 0.8 and maybe some highlights that you have from the episode or anything?
I enjoyed the entire show. It was like everyone else has already touched upon, finding Ezra so quickly. Just ruined it a bit, but enjoyed everything else. Night Sisters, the potential zombie troopers, Throne, seeing the Chimera, fantastic. But the fact that she literally went 20 minutes down the road and Ezra's set up camp, it was a bit silly.
Yeah.
Took me out of it a bit.
Yeah, like I honestly, like after a good night out in on a stag, I've spent longer looking for a chipper, like, do you know what I mean? And just, do you know when they're closed and it's like, yeah.
I think.
Do you call them chippers? Do you call them
No,
chippers
but I
in
know
the
what you
States?
mean.
Chippies.
Chippers, you know, like chippies, yeah. Jose, you're a big fan of this season or this series, I think, are you?
Yeah. I mean, I was really invested because I watched all Rebels and Clone Wars, so I was really invested in the show specifically for that reason. So I've been wondering where Ezra was since the show ended. So seeing him definitely was a lot more impactful for me, I think. Again, what you guys need to remember is Ezra, his attitude and the way he's acting, like crossing his arms and his little, I knew I could count on you. Like, that's very Aladdin-ish. That's what you would call Ezra, Aladdin in Star Wars. So basically that's the overly confidence. Like, we got to remember Aladdin was able to, get with Princess Jasmine. So, like he has that vibe, that personality, that cockiness, and that's Ezra. So, I would have liked a little bit more emotions, maybe some tears with that reunion. So I guess my rating would be about 4.2. So about what, the average for me, specifically in terms of the passage of time, that always is a little confusing with shows. So you guys are you guys on the panel are all agreeing that you guys did not like how quickly they found Ezra. But the thing is that for me, it's just like, well, how much time has it been since she left? Like, has it been an hour? Has it been 2? Like, how long? Yeah,
it had to be less than 3 days because they had 3 days to stock the Star Destroyer to get out of there, and then they were going to leave. So it has to be less than 3 days, so it felt like a day.
Okay,
so let's say it was about a day or so. I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's probably yeah. And so. So, I mean, but I don't know the exact, like, was it 24 hours? Was it less? I mean, we don't know the exact time of how long it took her to find Ezra. So again, I'll dock it for that. I'll dock it for the kind of clunky choreography with the fight scene with those droids or whatever. So I'll knock it for that. But story wise, it's progressing and Thrawn and all that. So it's working for me.
Yeah, man. As an audience member, if you don't show me dusk or a night scene, I just presume it's the same day. So it was. That's what I took from it. That it was all in one day, but maybe
I did think one of the more interesting things is Balin. Again, Balin and Shin continue for me to be one of the more interesting parts of this, and what he hears there, and how that might tie into, like, the video games and some old.
We just got science.
Pre-witches.
X-Men.
Oh, I like that. We're assuming a day is 24 hours, but a day could be like.
And they may not
year.
even have dusk or.
Yeah,
dark.
that's.
I mean, could have multiple.
I like
suns.
that.
Yeah,
I like
absolutely. That's another thing too.
Yeah.
We have to consider.
And
I was just thinking that when you guys mentioned that.
What is the rotation?
It has to be less than 3 days, so it's still as fast.
Yeah,
it's very fast.
Yeah, I like that. That's the thing.
Like what, like like Alaska, that it could be all day and the sun will be out. Like, you never know. I mean, what if we don't know anything about this planet or this universe at all? So, we're just making assumptions on real universe things that.
Yeah. So I agree with you, but I moved emotionally by things that I recognize as a human being. So showing her, like, frightened at night or just something. And I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying that
resting, even if it's during the day,
or thirsty or hungry or something. So that's why I knock off just 1 point. I would have given this a 5 because I love the characters we were introduced to. I love there was so much lore in this show, in this one episode that was great, but they missed certain emotional beats for me. I'm not saying right or wrong. It's just, that's how I felt about it. They teed it up for themselves and just missed it, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Trevor?
The only other thing that kind of bugged me is that she didn't really want to talk about what was going on, like, right that moment. It's like, you literally, you could be stranded here forever. I mean, maybe she doesn't care. I don't know. But I think I would have said, hey, listen, we got to get back because Thrawn's going to go and destroy our galaxy, and it's partially my fault. So we got to get out of here with the turtle people and get back there.
I think what the show's already established is that Sabine is a selfish character. She's doing things just for her own good, right? She's not thinking about the big universe, the big picture things. So Sabine is being selfish in that moment. She's like, I want to enjoy this moment where we're getting this reunion, and I don't want to tell you how I fucked it up. I don't want to tell you what I did.
Oh, you don't even have to say it's your fault, though. I mean, you shouldn't have to go into that.
She knows it is, though. She knows what she did.
I know, but don't you think she'd want to rectify it at this point and say, okay, I found a Jedi, you know what I mean? Like the guy in record time. Let's go back and see what we can do to rectify this whole thing. You know what I mean? That would be my first thought.
I also thought it was funny when he was like, "It worked."
As a character, either.
He goes, "It worked, didn't it?" She's like, "Yeah, it worked." I'm not going to mention the Death Star, Darth Vader, and the fact that billions of people were, there's a lot that happened. And because he took Thrawn away, the Death Star became the primary project. So for those who didn't see Rebels or didn't catch that bit, there's a reason that the Death Star became the object of the Empire's might. It was because of what they did on Lothal. So it's a very complex story that she's kind of like, don't worry about it.
And finally, Dan.
I agree with everyone. About 4.5 between that. I think.
You think this is a 4.5 episode out of 5, Dan?
Oh no, I loved it. Apart from the bit I didn't like was the bit at the end with Ezra and all that. Apart from that, it stopped. Oh
man!
Don't rate shame him, Shane. Let him like what he likes.
No, I'm just like asking him. Like, I mean, I'm just a bit bizarre. I'm just a bit like, I'm a bit shocked. Like, I don't know. It's because I'm just not feeling this show, lads. I'm sorry. I'm just.
Really, I do like Ezra.
That's fine, man. I mean, I loved it. I mean,
great casting for Ezra too. Mm-hmm. But Shane, do you think, because I know that you're struggling right now with Star Wars animation, do you think that maybe you're burnt out a little bit, or like? No,
I just like what I like, and I know what I like, and I know what I don't like, and this is like, I watched this and I was bored, man. I think it's okay. The natural defense to people that love this is that, not enough pew pew. I just give out that there was unnecessary pew pew earlier on. Like, I watched 127 hours. It's about a guy who's stuck under a rock. And I enjoyed it because it was well presented. Like, it was just like the flashbacks, and there was still like suspense. And I was like, is he going to get out of there? So what's the story? Like, and I like slow movies. I like slow seasons. Breaking Bad the first season is so slow, but it's still stimulating. I'm not feeling this at all. I think my rating is the first episode 3, second 3, third 2. The fourth was the best one, in my opinion. That was a 4-star. I enjoyed that. And then Anakin, 3. I can understand if you're a Clone Wars fan, you'd love it, or you're a Rebels fan. And then this one here,
But Shane, have you seen Rebels?
I wouldn't give it less than a 2, and I wouldn't give it more than a 3. But go on.
I don't know if you needed to see Rebels or not, but I mean, it would help, I think. But
yeah, so we had this conversation last week though as well. It was like 11 seasons,
but
between Clone Wars and Rebels.
If you think about this compared to Andor had people, that old guy that they worked with in the prison. I cared so much about that guy. You know what I mean? I was so invested in everybody getting out of this prison and the different scenarios, and there was danger there. Not for Cassian, because we know Cassian's going to make it through, but everybody else around him, you wanted to see. You were invested in, his mother and things like that. And here, I don't know. Like, I mean, I'm not even really feeling for things for the characters that I really like. Actually, I don't feel any danger for them. You know what I mean? Yet, anyway,
because it's played like a live action cartoon. I mean,
they're putting him. Yeah, exactly. But even in Rebels, somebody died, which I was unexpected. But you kind of expected that they.
Keith's got your back, Dan.
Episode to episode, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Sorry, Dan. I didn't mean to look like I was having a dig. It was just like, I'm just shocked that you rate this 4.5.
You know what? That's the good thing about Star Wars. Everyone likes different things. For me, I enjoyed it because I'd watched Rebels. and which I actually enjoyed. I watched it in lockdown, and it was close to a Rebels episode for me. It was enjoyable. And it felt like a Star Wars to me. It felt like a proper Star. You know, little turtle characters, and you know, it just felt there was a bit of rushness to it, but it just had everything for me that I love about Star Wars. So yeah, I'm enjoying it.
You see, I choose Andor, the slowest episode of Andor over this any day of the week. I just felt that it was deeper characters, a better story, dialogue.
But bearing in mind, I loved Andor as well. Andor was actually.
I get it. Maybe that's what's throwing me.
But this is one of those shows that I would never tell anybody. Like, for example, One Piece, I watched the first episode. I don't get it, but I respect that people love it. I can see why some people love it. With this show, I can see why people love it, and I can also see why people are like, I just don't even care. It's not one of those like Breaking Bad. You just watched
One Piece. Sorry.
Wait, you haven't? People are loving that show, Shane.
Yeah, no, I've heard it's great.
Yeah,
I've heard it's great. I've heard it's great. Yeah.
But for me, Ahsoka is the weakest link of the show, and I hate to say that, but I feel like Rosario's performance is extremely boring, and there's no intensity at all. So
I think it's what they're giving her to do.
Do you think in 5 years' time? Do you think in 5? Okay, I have a question for the panel before we move on. In 5 years' time, do you think people will still go back and watch The Mandalorian season 1 and 2?
Yes.
Yeah.
In 5 years' time, do you think people will still go back and watch this?
I'll watch episode 5.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think so, because this is going to be
how it ends up, I guess.
I'll watch episode 5. Yeah, that's funny.
This will be connected to the larger universe.
If they get his movie right,
yeah,
the Filoni movie, then I think this will be someone that will go back and watch it.
Yeah,
I can't see this being a happy ending this season. Is going to be. It's got to lead into something for the movie.
Yeah.
Maybe you're right. Well, folks, look, thanks for that. Lots of differing opinions here. Definitely a mixed bag here. Some people love it, some people not so much, and that's the way it is. Before we move on any further, I just think it's really, really important to take a bit of time out and just never forget Goose, guys. Never forget Goose. Okay, watching. All right, so we're going to move on to. I suppose we're going to talk about some figures now. Again, look, there's a lot to get through here, folks. So, don't feel obliged to chime in if you don't want to. So we're going to start off with the release we got this week. Anyone got this in hand or close to getting in his hand? Chime in if you want.
Nope. I'm waiting on the Hobo one.
Nope.
Joey, you were muted.
Said I have it paid off. That's all. That's about it.
Oh yeah, and you. So all right. So this is coming home then.
Yeah, I got every No Way Home figure almost paid off. Besides the black suit Spider-Man that came out last year, I believe. But everything else is almost paid off. Yeah.
Would you? So you're getting the Hobo as well?
Yeah.
Are you gonna display this with this mask and then the Hobo with the head sculpt type thing?
I have the I have the Thunder Toy Spider-Man, so I probably will have my own a Spider-Man 1 and 2 or Spider-Man Raimiverse shelf itself. So I'll probably keep those separated and have all the other stuff, because I have the Fiend as well. That one's good just by itself, but this one you could tell is a little bit better, by the paint applications and the head sculpt and all that.
Yeah.
So this one is for sure. Everything's coming home. I like the head sculpt too. The head sculpt looks really good to me. I know a lot of people dog on it, but I think it looks good. It's creepy enough. I might not display the head sculpt. I don't know yet. It just depends on how it looks like in person. But right there, there, it looks crazy.
I think it looks great.
Yeah, I think the eyes make a massive difference. You could potentially make it look goofy if you've got the pose and the eyes don't match together. But I think it all depends on the pose and what direction you have the eyes to make it look natural. I think that looks a bit weird there.
Yeah, you could tell that the paint is way better on this one than the Fiend.
Toys Era.
Yeah, or Toys Era. Yeah, I keep thinking Thunder Toys, but yeah. Toys
Yeah. So
It'd be
I
cool.
think are you the only one on the panel then getting this?
I guess. I guess I am.
I think everyone. I think when you brought it up last time we were talking about, I think everybody was saying that we're going for the hobo. I think everybody that's getting this line is most likely getting the hobo.
Cool.
Goblin.
I can't remember. Did we talk about this last week? I think there was. Did we maybe this come out on the Monday?
I think we touched on it.
Yeah. Okay. We can move on from this. So because I know that the other stuff we haven't. All right. So we're just gonna go in order here. So. Again, like I'm not going to chime in unless it's something I'm interested in. So if anyone is getting this, we can talk about it, and if not, we'll just move on.
I want
try to keep myself for getting this. Yeah,
yeah.
Exactly.
So this one's limited to 1,500, right? Pieces.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say I'm not usually like this, but I didn't want it until I heard that. I'm not usually like that because I'm a big Iron Man guy. And I want all the original 7 and all that, and that would be cool to have something like this, especially if it's going to be that low of a piece count. Just because you're a big Iron Man fan, if it was Batman, I would probably do it as well. But any other character, if it was a low piece count, like Wanda, if she was at 1,500, no for me. If it was just like anything else, maybe Joker. But yeah.
Is this
the
being one of
TK
the...
Magic Shop? TK Magic Shop was just asking about does it have separate rolling eyes for the Green Goblin, and it does, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah. So sorry, Mike, what were you saying?
Oh no, I was just going to say, is there a Marvel Classics line, or?
I believe this will probably start it up. I think this probably starting it. Yeah, this is the only one that we have of this one.
Okay. Because in isolation, I can skip him, but if they start really going into a comic book line, that's something I would really consider.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did we confirm if this is diecast or not? Do we know?
Yeah, it's diecast.
Yeah.
Diecast
Oh,
1500.
that makes it even better. But I probably won't even try. But I do want it though.
Right. So there's no one 100% on this, or Trevor, you said you want it, but
I'm 50-50 because I think I'm 50-50 that they're going to continue with something like this with cartoon. I mean, I think they should.
Yeah.
But I'm afraid that if I buy into this and they do, that I'm stuck with in that rabbit hole again. So I'm staying away. Yeah. I mean, the limited availability of it kind of does.
Yeah.
Make me want to get it just to see it and then maybe sell it or something. I don't know.
Gotcha. Yeah, I appreciate what they're doing here. We wouldn't have a lot of the TV shows or movies that we've had or have now if it wasn't for the pages of these comic books. At this stage now, some of these are got to be coming up on 100 years old. When's Iron Man? Tales of Suspense, I think, was Iron Man's first appearance. So that was, I don't know, was that the 60s? Was it before the 60s? I mean, you're talking
50s,
over 80 years ago. So like that's it's pretty cool the way, if it wasn't for these simple diagrams and drawings and stuff like that in comic books, we wouldn't have any of the kind of stories and movies that we have today. But no, glad it's out there for the people that are into it, but no, not for me. So I'm going to move on. This came out of left field. This stunning head sculpt.
Yes.
So any Buddy Maguire fans here?
Yes, I am. Love this thing. I think it's spot on. I was watching this. They have this on Netflix, Spider-Man 3, and I was just like looking at some of the features, and they got everything spot on. And you can also hopefully, I don't know if you want to buy to get this head sculpt, you would think that you could just put it on a suit and you'd have Bully Maguire, the emo Spider-Man, you could say like dancing or something, but you do have that neck part down there that maybe could hide under a suit. Or maybe it won't, but I just realized that if you wanted to do that, you would have to kind of hide the Spider-Man suit on his neck. But I would want to buy 2 just to do that, but I would have to see somebody else do it first before I pull the trigger on a second one. But yeah, this looks great. But I do think they went lazy on that Venom head sculpt. I feel like they just like kind of repainted or whatever they do on the Venom, the regular Venom we got, Tom Hardy, and they just put like different teeth and different texture and just came out with it like that.
So that's a deluxe that you'll be paying extra for, or a Sideshow exclusive like freebie?
I'm not sure about that. I was out of town, so I don't know. I haven't looked at all into it. I need to though. But it is a deluxe. The deluxe version I might think comes with it.
They've absolutely nailed the head sculpt.
Oh yeah.
Like
This is Yixi,
yeah.
who's done a lot of custom sculpts for people. And
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He's
Did you see that Oppenheimer he's working on?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
This kind of
Pretty-
reminds
pretty
me
damn-
of the Batman, the Robert Pattinson. Whenever his hair is kind of to the side like this. I don't know if whenever Hot Toys made it, it was like to the side like this, and it looks a little bit like it.
Yeah. Gotta
It's
say,
an
I'm really
amazing
impressed by
sculpt.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not like a Raimi-verse fan or Tobey Maguire. The only Tobey Maguire I'm going to get is the one from No Way Home. But I think they've nailed the sculpt. Separate rolling eyeballs function looks good. Hair looks good. Suit looks good. I think, like, it's funny thing is, I'll just move it on. Like, I agree with the points you've made about the Venom sculpt, but I just want to get you, like, say, a decent photo where you can see everything.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a specific one I'm looking for. I think it's so like there or there. See there with the base. That displayed, like, it does look pretty damn cool, but I just think it's weird the way it's a Tom Hardy Venom, which didn't appear in this movie.
And I don't think that the tongue of the Venom in the I think good old Spotchka told me the tongue on the Venom on this one wasn't that long. It wasn't. I think they reused that tongue from the Tom Hardy Venom as well. And the suit should be a lot more slick. So I feel like they just painted the No Way Home Spider-Man and just put it on there, painted it all black, and gave it a new logo.
Right.
Because if you look on some of the actual like movie photos, this guy is super slick, and on some he's not, but mainly he looks, the web lines aren't so raised.
Yeah, I remember on the promo images, I thought it looked more like this, but I don't remember the movie. It's been a long time.
There's like a still where he's like this, like with his arm up like this, and you could see how everything's more flush, and it just
Yeah, it's because it's supposed to be the symbiote, not a fabric suit. So that's why you lose a bit of illusion with this.
Yeah.
So is anyone on the panel keen on this?
I'm interested.
Joey?
Yeah, I'm interested.
Sorry, Jose.
Yeah. I'm interested. We'll see. I'm thinking about it. To answer the whole concern about the undersuit, I think it would still work, because if you remember, to show how much I've seen this movie, if you remember the scene where he goes to the jazz club with Gwen Stacy, he has the suit under his black outfit, so he wears it under it, so it would work. So I'm interested. We'll see. It's not a day one PO, but I'm interested.
The jazz club just cracks me up. It makes me want to watch it again, to be honest. Like,
on Netflix.
it's
a great scene.
It's
a great scene. I mean, because it makes you laugh. I mean, in general, it does. You can talk about the quality of the movie, but
But
the memes
when I walk down the streets of New York and I go like this to people, they get out of my way.
But like people will, as hard as it might be, they will kit bash this, and Buddy Maguire will be featuring in many Modu cases and collections. But so we're gonna move on from this unless anyone else wants to.
I gotta tell you, I'm looking at a screenshot from the movie, and it looks pretty good, man. It looks pretty close.
I think it does too. Looks awesome.
Okay. Maybe I looked at the wrong pictures.
Yeah, it's impressive. I think there was one particular image that really blew me away. I used it for the thumbnail. I think it's that one. That was just like,
even like to the moles and everything on his face, like even the small moles on his face, crazy.
And even see with the light here, you can see the texture of his skin. Yeah, they are talented. This was out of left field. I gotta say, this was one of the coolest characters in this movie, and I think this is awesome. Like, so we got Spider-Punk from Across the Spider-Verse, and this is Hobie Brown. I thought this was just a cool character, and like if you look at it, like even the backdrops, like a lot of these backdrops you wouldn't use. This is cool.
Yeah, I like what they did with the graphic piece on the back of the guitar that you can take on. It makes it look like that sort of drawing style. That's great.
Love that.
This is like an art piece. This is going to pop out. Like this is like those weird C-3POs they do. Sideshow sell them. Like so, you have the red and blue pop of the fabric suit. So posing shouldn't be an issue. I know what the pants would be like, but then you got the kind of leatherish or pleatherish sleeveless jacket and pants. You got the kind of The red boots with the blue laces on. There's a lot of detail. The straps, these kind of braces he's got going on, all the studded belts. And then the head sculpt is like, and the fact that he's tall and lanky, these two guys pose together, even if that's the only two ones you have for
body's
your
great.
Spider-Man, that is bloody cool, man. I gotta say, bravo. Like, I just loved this in the movie. I thought it was pretty damn cool.
They look great. If I had older kids, like, this is the kind of figure that I would pick up for them for birthday or something.
Oh, okay, I see. Yeah.
So this is what yeah. But this is still from the movie, yeah?
Yeah.
It does look quite raised there.
Yeah, it does look raised there.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it does.
I swear there's another shot. I'll send you it later. There's another shot where he's like, it's very slick, but it's probably different shots.
Why isn't this viewing for me? 1 second. Ah, there we go. Okay, sorry. Apologies. Yeah, is anyone like anyone want to like talk about this and go to a particular slide, or is anyone like sign me up? Anyone dopo this? Anyone pre-order this?
I want this so badly, and I just don't want to go because I'm gonna have to get everything then.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I feel exactly the same way.
I have Miles, and Miles is my representation for loving these movies. I don't even have Gwen. I'm gonna have to do it all, and I don't want to do it all. I just don't.
I see. I personally,
so good. So
yeah.
cool, man.
I personally, I also felt like I can't go down this line, so I didn't get the first Miles or Gwen from the first movie. And with the second movie, I loved it too. So then, that $20.99 got updated, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get it. And then I was like, I put the pre-order, and then I'm like, oh no, but now I have to get Miles, and I have to get Gwen, and I have to get all these, and then him, and then I'm like, oh gosh, what did I do? It's.
Aren't
tough.
you glad we do these therapy sessions for you, Jose?
Yeah, because I'm like, oh no, I just committed to something. Yeah. I'm like, I could get $20.99 just by himself and just have him on his shelf just by himself. But I'm like, I want Miles. I know.
The Lord tells me he can get me out of this mess, but he's pretty sure you're fucked.
Watching it all day long.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we need to start cherry picking. Like, if ever this is a wave, this is an onslaught. I don't think anyone predicted this between the release and the announcements, but I would agree, because it's like, I don't need everything. I don't complete lines. I cherry pick, but this guy's not the main character. So at least if I'm buying this guy, I would like to at least get Miles, and I might be able to shut the door and just have them posed up something like that, even. Or even, I really like this Miles because it comes with all those layering. He has, is it the Brooklyn Nets basketball jersey he has?
Yeah, he's wearing like a basketball
jersey.
jersey.
And then the big puffer jacket. Oh man, I thought that was really cool with all the layering. I like the layering in a figure. So I mean, I can't rule this guy out. And well, I suppose, to be honest, it's these guys. But yeah, I just think this is stunning.
I just keep thinking how great
a
shelf this is going to look like if you were to go all in on this, like the varying heights and body shapes because of the way they do these, and the posing that you can get out of them. This is going to be an incredible looking shelf, and I'm picturing it, and I'm trying to put it out of my mind because I really
you can even think about it like if you get one of those like module cases, or like you have like a whole thing where you can put all the figures, you can put the backdrops in behind every figure. So it's like you have like an artistic background, right?
I was just going to ask about, do the backdrops match up to one another? Do they form or no, they're different cities actually, right? But still, even as separate,
it might still look cool.
Oh, definitely.
You can still collage them. You can still collage them the way some of them, come out in shape. I've got Miles, and you see Gwen as well. What you can do with it. That's what I thought a module case with this. I wouldn't go all in. I love this because it just screams Vivienne Westwood clothing. It's just that early punk rock style of hers. This figure is the one that's potentially pulling me into this. I've got Miles, but I would need to get 4 of them to put in a module case and have that display.
Yeah, look
Ian,
how expressive his hands are.
You can't be coming in here with your 4.2s and your Vivienne Westwood and your highbrow Vogue.
Yeah.
And your dolphin jersey.
We're not there yet.
I love the Dolphins jersey.
Yeah. And that's fair point. It's just I know they're all art, but there's something about this. Because this looks like it's going to shape up to be a beautiful trilogy. Or are they making 4 movies or 3? Because I know, like, Across the Spider-Verse Part 1, aren't they making Across the Spider-Verse Part 2?
Yeah. Yes.
And then isn't there another Isn't
As
there
of right
another
now,
I think they're
nothing
going
is
to keep
now.
going with this until they can't go with it anymore. It's fantastic. If you keep
They
making
might do like
quality movies.
spin-offs. They could probably do spin-offs,
Yep.
things like that.
I love how the hands are not utilitarian necessarily. They're expressive, and even the one for the left hand on the guitar, it's almost forming a chord shape, and like just so cool. So great details.
I was saying this the other day on my show, like the rolling eyeballs in these cartoon heads. They've even got that, so there's no gap there, and that's an oddly shaped eye. You know what I mean? So you've got to work that out so that it's there's not, as you move it around, there's not going to be a gap, which is really amazing. Yeah, it looks incredible.
Even the, like, I don't know, what would you call it, a wrapping paper type thing on this is bloody cool. And the tracker looks like a post-it on it or something. That's just, yeah.
Would
that's
you
so
guys
80s.
would y'all go head sculpt or no head sculpt?
No, it's good.
I think I
I love that Mohican. I love that Mohican.
You know the way a lot of people say, "Oh, I got to buy two, one to pose with the head sculpt and one with the mask." I'm more, that gives me an excuse to repose the figure every so often. Even that might be 3 months, 6 months. There's still I'm going to freshen up my collection. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As opposed
Absolutely.
to paying for another figure.
Yeah.
Because people are already talking about getting, like, when we'll get to it, buying two of those INART Supermans, because I think everyone thought it was going to be $500-600. Now it's only $400. Well, may as well get two. One with the dynamic cape, one with the regular cape, one with the angry sculpt. My God,
It's only 400. How quickly they come along to the high end stuff.
yeah, we are getting conditioned.
Happens,
We are
man.
definitely
It
getting
happens.
conditions, like, you know. So yeah. All right, so we have a $5 super chat from a 501st member, TK Magic Shop. Thank you guys for taking the time to give us the content. Been collecting since 2008, but not 1/6 until 2020. Me and the wife can watch for hours. I really do appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. There's a lot of fantastic content creators. Many of them are here on the panel as well, so make sure you give them all a subscribe as well if you haven't done so already. But no, thanks very much. And I do appreciate
That's
that.
cool.
That
That his wife watches too.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully she's not.
Tell us your secrets.
Yeah.
How?
You know, she's letting you
yeah.
make these purchases, or she's watching you so you don't make any purchases while you're watching the streams. You know.
This guy knows things that we don't know. He needs to come on or something, you know. So I do appreciate that. Thank you very much, TK Magic Shop. Sorry, does he have an actual name, Joey? I mean, I presume he's got a name.
I don't know
Is
his
that
name.
private information?
No, I don't know his name, but he's always in my chat. So awesome guy.
Thank you very much. X-Man Supreme saying my wallet doesn't need this week's announcements. Yeah. TK wants it too as well. And X-Man Supreme saying he has to have the Hobie. Judy is saying I'm getting this this punk just because of the hair and guitar. Yeah, it's pretty damn cool. Got blue tattoo here as well. Thanks very much for being here. Nice and stuff.
How well do you think this will sell, and how deep do you think it'll go, this line?
Oh, I think they're going to do the Indian Spider-Man, and I think they're going to do Spot, and surely they'll do another Gwen.
I bet they'll knock
after that,
Spot
I
out the park. They'll knock Spot out the park. I bet.
I'm concerned that they haven't done Peter B. Parker.
Peter B,
That's concerning. I mean, I love Hobie Brown and these other versions of the characters, like Miles Prowler version as well, that most likely we're going to discuss too. But where is Peter B. Parker? Is there something, I don't know, it's strange. We didn't get him for the first movie and not for this one either. It was weird.
Yeah, because it was just wasn't it a third party? Was it Young Rich did it? I think
They did a version, and they have a Across the Spider-Verse version as well, coming out as well, third party. But if Hot Toys is going to do it, obviously that's something I'd be interested in. But I'm not sure why third party is doing it, but Hot Toys isn't.
Yeah, this is such a unique figure. It's just different. It's pretty damn cool. Yeah.
Hey, Shane, see the
Go on.
photo where he's got his back with the guitar.
Yeah, that's the one for me.
And you
That's
can
the one for me.
that one, yeah, because it's kind of
the
like
pose
people were
me.
saying they could pose the Doc Ock like as if the movie poster slightly you know, from behind, showing the tentacles and the trench coat and the silhouette, and you know, he has a way to hide the sculpt if you didn't like it. And there's nothing wrong with this sculpt, but this is pretty damn cool way to display it, even if he's kind of facing like that. So there's lots going on, and the guitar in the back.
I'd even display the sculpt like this. It'd be like almost like a Jimi Hendrix Spider Punk.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'd look cool.
Yeah, it's pretty damn cool. Yeah, absolutely. So then the next thing.
Can I make one more comment?
Oh yeah, of course.
The only thing I was thinking about is like, you know how before we were kind of apprehensive to get these figures because we didn't want to mix them with the live action characters. But now because of this movie, I feel like you could kind of get away with that because they didn't kind of interact with live action characters.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to put him with the live action Spideys, you could and kind of get away with it. I thought that was interesting.
That really wouldn't bother me at all. I could totally have him there next to whoever. That wouldn't bother me. But I get what you're saying. Some people are very particular about that. But you're right. Yeah, it opens the door for that because there was so much going on in that. There was live action. You had like Childish Gambino dressed as Prowler, like in one of those things. Like, so actually, that's a good segue. This one I'm less excited for. I think the Hobie Brown is just so unique. I kind of saw the photos on that first and recorded my preview video on that first, and then I saw this one. But I did like this guy's appearance and the way it went, because this is kind of like their Empire Strikes Back. A lot of people are saying that the way how the movie ended. But Phil, what do you think?
It's a stone figure. Like you, I prefer the Hobie Spider-Punk. It's nice looking, and they've smashed all these animated figures, but yeah, it's not for me.
That looks great.
If I was going to get one, it'd definitely be the Spider-Punk.
Yeah,
but he was great.
I'm not gone on the design choice. Like, I know that they've replicated it well. I'm just not gone on the design choice for this one. But what do you guys think?
I really like the diorama. The diorama is really cool. They took a lot of usage out of that flight pole that you could use, and it doesn't look like there's a flight pole. It looks like it's actually part of the diorama itself, which I thought was very clever.
I feel that once the next movie comes out, a lot more people are going to be interested in this figure. At this moment, I think it's a little kind of iffy for collectors because he was just in that one scene at the end of the film, right? But you know, if we get that newer film sooner or around the time this releases and it's in stock, some collectors are most likely going to pull the trigger on this, right?
Yeah. It is interesting that they chose to do this over like a Peter B. Parker or something. I mean, you've got the body; it's the same kind of body type. So he's the same height, right? He's not any taller than Miles, I don't think. I mean, he is Miles, but spoiler. But you know, I guess reusing the body, I guess, is a good reason to do this, I suppose. I think it looks great.
What does the G stand for? Is it Gary or something?
I don't know.
It's a mystery, just like the G in my name. You know, you just don't know. It's a mystery.
Oh, right. Do you actually? What is? Are we allowed to ask her what it is, or is there?
No, I won't tell you.
You won't, but it's not Gary anyway.
No, it's not Gary.
So this is where G-Shock comes from, is it?
Yeah. That's because it was Jose G. Hernandez, like I was sharing with you last time, to differentiate. You know, I had in class, I had to do Zoom classes, and there was another Jose H. So I had to put Jose G to kind of differentiate. And,
Jose H. He was the Wish.com version of you.
Yeah,
that's what it was.
Exactly.
Don't mind that guy, an imposter. Yeah.
It's actually Gonzalo.
Oh, okay.
Just look that up. There you go.
That's
I
cool.
prefer Gary.
Right.
It was supposed to be a mystery, Trevor. What happened?
It's not, apparently. It's on the internet.
Typical Trevor shouting out those Emperor is wearing no clothes statements. My God, just ruined it. Okay. Right, so...
A lot of the next movie is his middle name.
Yeah. We will be... I have photos of both the artisan and the regular one. I'll go last in this. I'm curious about, like, you know, are people interested in this? Are they over the in-game line? Why are they doing this? Are you gonna try and join the rat race for the artisan version, or would you be happy with the sculpted version? Are you looking for a Wanda? We'll just go through the panel there. Ian, thoughts?
Yeah, for me, I don't have Wanda, and this would be the one Wanda that I would want. And it would actually be the sculpted one I would pick. So I'm not going to pre-order just now. I'm going to sit on it and wait till it comes out, because I know I'll be able to pick it up. But I believe it will be the sculpted I would go for. I do want Wanda in the collection, and this is the Scarlet Witch for me. So certainly for my one, all the other ones they've done I've really liked, but for me this is the one that I wanted, and I think the sculpt.
And do you think it looks like
stunning.
her?
Oh, absolutely! I think the sculpt's stunning.
I think it looks great. Like either or. I do have a preference, but I'll go last. So is this one you're gonna might chase the sculpted here?
Yeah, I think it will be sculpted that I'll go for. I don't want too much rooted hair figures in my collection. I'd quite like them just to stand out. So I know that there's going to be a lot more rooted coming, but I really like the sculpted on this. For me personally, the rooted's stunning as well. It's just for this figure what I would pick. But I think this figure looks fantastic.
Yeah, that's the rooted version there now.
LED, the LED base as well just looks great.
Yeah, I'll switch back to this and I'll just flick through some of these images here. Joey.
Yeah. I don't. Nah, this isn't anything I would get. I mean, if I had to, I would pose it with Thanos, and if I had to, I'd get the not rooted as well as the sculpted, because I think the sculpted looks really cool. Even though you probably can't turn her head right or left, it still looks a lot better. But this isn't on my radar. But I think they're kind of only doing this, or maybe, like we said before, they're probably going back on IPs because of the writer strike. So that's what I feel like. But I mean, that's just all, rumors or whatever, but that's all I gotta say. But I do like that base. Wow, I haven't seen the base in its entirety. Whew, that one looks really good. But still.
Yeah, so you probably have a light up on a standard like non-blinking and then a pulsing or something like that.
Is that USB powered? It should be. If it's not, okay. Yeah, that's beautiful. But still, no, I'm okay.
I'm pretty sure this is the exact same as the Artisan one, just the Artisan has the rooted hair, more limited and more expensive, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
I think this was the Hong Kong base price for this was $260, and then you add on whatever your 30% for whatever price it'll be. You're probably talking $325 by the time it hits Sideshow. The other one would be $400 plus, So so you're not Ian, you're keen in the sculpted, you're not keen. Phil?
No, there's nothing for me at all, this figure. I'm not quite sure why, but I've no interest whatsoever in the artisan or the sculpted. I think it's because I've never really been sold on the character of Scarlet Witch, so it's an easy pass for me, thankfully.
Okay, cool. We'll move on. Jose?
So I actually had the Civil War Wanda. I sold it when the WandaVision version came up for pre-order. I sold her. Pretty good return that I got on her. So I've had this version before, so I don't think I'm necessarily interested in it. And I'll tell you why they're doing this. Because I mean, they could have done any other Marvel character as an artisan, but they're doing this because they have the materials. They've done this version several times already, so they can. It's easy. It's like, think about every artisan that they've done. It's a figure that's in the aftermarket is selling for a lot, right? Anakin, Joker. These are previous versions of figures that are selling in the aftermarket for a lot of money. So why are they doing it? For money, right? That's why they do everything. So they're doing it to cash in and get people want this Wanda. Some consider this the definitive Wanda because she wore this outfit the most throughout the Infinity Saga, right? So people like this Wanda, and they want to, they want this version. So, what is an improvement? Like we talked about this before in terms of artisan figures. Like, what's the improvement? Just because it's a better head sculpt and you got rooted hair now? It's the same thing. They didn't upgrade the outfit. It's still the same pleather. It's still going to crease if you try to pose her in a flight pose. So, there's not any difference there. So, I probably won't. I have a friend who's a big Wanda fan, so I might try to help, try to get it in the queue for her. But if other than that, I think it's a pass. I'm getting the Multiverse of Madness version. So
there you have it, folks. Jose G. Hernandez, Crushing Dreams. I actually agree with everything you just said. Everything. You're right. They are just, I agree with everything you said. It's nothing new, but I do think the head sculpt looks better. Is it a new head sculpt or just new paint application? Because I do think it looks like her.
I mean, the Civil War version. Mm-hmm. It does say there the proportions are upgraded, so that's funny though. They basically saying that they changed the body, right? The likeness I think is improved. I had the Civil War one, and that one was strong, but it was the paint apps were not as strong as this one. But again, we're thinking about a figure that came out around 2016, 2017, right? Now compared to 2023. There you can see the
proportions, and I think the proportions look really well. They do. It does actually remind me like what she looked like wearing that outfit. Like, so do you think like this body is a new body that they weren't using before?
I mean, it's possible. It does look different from the body that the original had.
I think the proportions look good. Like,
yeah,
So yeah, I do think it looks quite good. But you're right though. They
could have tackled anything. Like they could have tackled any Marvel figure. Like one I thought right off the bat, I'm like they're doing the Guardians of the Galaxy 3 Volume 3 characters, right? In the uniforms. Why not do a Gamora? Right, do a Gamora artisan, one with rooted wool hair, right, and then one sculpted for people that can't get the artisan line. That's a new figure. You can and that I feel like will be something new versus tackling something like this. It's like, oh no, we know it's selling for a good price on the aftermarket. Let's just cash in and we'll do a new head sculpt. We'll put the wool hair on it. There you go, done.
Yeah. I do think though, like out of all the Wandas, like there's a lot of Wandas out there. You've got the WandaVision one, then you've got 2 SKUs on the Multiverse of Madness, which is due to release. And just for me personally, although I'm not a completionist, but the Endgame, certain lines I definitely do go deeper into, and I do have quite a few figures from Endgame. And because she was such a big part in the MCU up to Endgame, definitely, and still even now, but this is the outfit that I remember her wearing the most, and I think this head sculpt is stunning, and I do think both versions are nice, but I think I could save a few bucks and not go through the rat race of trying to get the artisan version and settle for the sculpted, and it would fit nice seeing at the Endgame display. This is something I am considering. I haven't pre-ordered, it's on the wish list, we'll say. But I really like the body proportions and even like the fit. If you look at her coat, it's fitted, it kind of goes into the waist very well. Like it's not baggy or anything like that. I think the head sculpt looks good. I actually think it's quite good, and it's nice that it's Endgame. I thought they were kind of more. I thought Loki was going to be the end of the Endgame, or that stealth cap that they read 2.0. Yeah, I think this is quite cool. But Mike.
Yeah, it's a beautiful looking figure. It's not something I'll be picking up. I don't collect this line, but the thing I'm most excited about for this figure is that we're now averaging 3 Artisan Edition announcements. Sorry, 1 a month. So this being our 3rd, we're now 1 a month. So if they keep up that pace, there's going to be something that rolls around that any one of us will be excited for. So I hope the Artisan keeps coming strong.
Yeah. I will say one thing, though. I have still, and this is including the Wonder Woman 100, I've still yet to see a Hot Toys rooted hair that I've been really impressed with.
Oh.
I mean, I think the best one that I've seen is the prototype for the Anakin Artisan. The prototype.
Yep.
But this here, I still think that the sculpted version looks a little. I think it looks better. I think the rooted fine. The rooted looks good, but it still looks like there's more volume on her head than there should be. So if you kind of go back, say, I'll try to find a similar image with the sculpted. Like if you just go back and forth through these images, right? Like that, the proportions, like if you think of her silhouette, if there's a shadow of the two of them, I think the proportions would look better here on this one as opposed to this one. So a lot more volume going on there. I know that probably comes with root hair, but I don't think I'd purchase an artisan until I see an artisan. Am I making sense there? You know, I want to see how they turn out.
Yeah,
You know?
no, that makes
So,
sense.
yeah.
You want to see the in hand. Does it actually look like it looks in the prototype? I feel the same way.
Not
like,
even necessarily in
really...
hand, like, but I need to see a bunch of reviews where I'm like, God, they've nailed it. You know,
we want to see that
fair enough statement.
That the hair is exactly how it's showing, at least in these images, right? In the promo images, because we all saw what happened with that Anakin when they displayed it on the sideshow thing, you know. So the hair was all, you know, out of whack. So, you know, it's gonna be interesting to see how they end up.
But I have more faith in myself, kind of stylizing a tousled Anakin head sculpt than a curly female sculpt. But I have no experience with this. I know Trevor and some of the rest of you do. So this is very new to me, sculpted hair. I mean, sorry,
the whole
rooted hair.
Rooted hair. Yeah, the whole reason I got the Wonder Woman is I'm not a Wonder Woman fan. I just really want to see what the hair was going to be like, and I figured I'd turn around and just sell it for whatever. So yeah, you're right, Shane. We haven't really seen that. I think Anakin's going to be the test because that's going to have some hairline stuff. I mean, here you've got a center hairline. It's pretty easy to do this, with rooted hair. I think the volume is good on this. I think I'm actually looking at an image from her, and I was comparing it a couple days ago when it came out. It could be tamed down a little bit on the sides here, but I think it's pretty good. My dilemma is I just got the Wanda, so I have one. I've said this before, but I have one figure of each Avengers character with my favorite costume from each movie because I'm not going deep on that stuff. So I just got WandaVision, and I think WandaVision, I never thought this outfit really screamed Scarlet Witch, translated from the comic books to the movies, and I think that the WandaVision one does, and I was planning on having somebody hair that one version, and now this is here, so I'm going to try for this. Whether or not I'm going to keep, I want that base so bad though, man. That base is amazing.
Yeah, that base for sure.
I may just have to part that base out or something like that, or find it parted out, and yeah, but I do like the look of it. It does look pretty good, and like I said, I'm going to try for the rooted version of it. I have no, I wouldn't have any desire for it if it wasn't rooted. I don't think I wouldn't get the sculpted version. I just, again, this outfit for me, she wore it a lot, but it just doesn't feel like Scarlet Witch for me.
Yeah. Is that as in like when are you going back, say, to the comics, like kind of type of thing?
Yeah, it's not necessarily what I have up here is like my favorite translation from the comics. It's basically my favorite outfit, but I do like the ones that are a little more comic. And, you know what I mean? A little more.
Yeah, no, I'm the same way. We were talking about it last week. I'm the same way.
Yeah,
it has to be one, and it's like the one that feels like the most like the comic accurate version of that. So
well,
it's I
she doesn't have a tiara. Like she never wore the whole thing about Scarlet
and that's why
Witch was that tiara, and it was like
and that's why I'm getting the Multiverse of Madness version because it's like she has a tiara and I like that version. Yeah, I get it, but
I don't like that. I mean,
but the WandaVision one is a good alternative if you want good Wanda. So
I just want that rooted.
I believe what the guys from LWO say is she's a baddie.
Yes, she is.
Not evil. Yeah, so okay. And finally, Dan, then, is this anything that's on your radar?
No, looks great. Similar to the Spider-Man ones before. I don't collect Marvel, so when all these came in this week, it was like a sigh of relief just to enjoy them. They all look great, but I'm not going to buy any of them, so it's quite nice on that. But I mean, I like the wool hair. I think it looks good. It will be interesting to see how quickly this will sell out. Will it be like Anakin, or will it, last a few hours? It'll be interesting to see.
If you don't mind a little show and tell, it's I got this too.
Is this her autograph? Yeah.
Oh, nice, man.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Ah, cool.
Nice.
You could display that. You could display that with the figure. That would look good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
the idea.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we just had confirmation from the top. So Mario's just chiming in here saying that he can confirm she is indeed a baddie. Thank you. They definitely call you the professor for good reason. Thank you, sir. I do appreciate that. Okay, so
The one I thought this had rolling
Go on.
eyeballs. I guess it doesn't. I didn't realize that because it doesn't have rolling eyeballs, right?
That's weird. That would be the first artisan without that.
Yeah,
Right?
that kind of.
Oh,
It's
wow.
a DX too,
right, I just kind of assumed.
Me too.
Yeah, but
No?
I'm looking at all the
Is that
pictures and I don't
confirmed
see
that
any
she's not?
movement. Or maybe they do. Maybe I'm wrong. Hang on a second. Let me go back here.
I thought
They have a
she did.
close up
Maybe
of her
it's something
face.
to do with
and
the
it didn't
reflective.
Oh no, they
nature.
do.
Is
I'm
it
sorry.
something
My
maybe-
mistake. They do.
They do, yeah.
They do.
Okay.
Yeah, they do. Okay.
Okay.
They didn't use them in any
Good
other
stuff.
picture, but the one where they said rolling eyeballs. All the
Yeah.
other pictures for her eyes are in the same
Yeah,
place.
so I'm not ruling this out, but I won't be chasing the rooted one, to be honest. I'll go with the sculpted defending. It's not 100%, but it's something that's definitely on the radar. I wouldn't rule it out. I think I would like a representation because it's Endgame. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The movie is just so goddamn good. Like, and a lot of those figures are quite cheap now. So there's there's a few that I'm thinking about picking up because it's still, that movie is standing the test of time, and there's a lot of triple threats there. And plus, I don't have any real female representation in my collection. Like, I'm not going to. Okay, let me restrain. I'm not going to buy a female character just for the sake of having a female character. I think that's silly. I want to buy a female character because I like the character. So Catwoman from The Dark Knight Rises is coming home because I love the movie and I love the character. I think she did a great job. Ahsoka's there because Mando season 2. Give me a Sarah Connor and a Ripley, but like a man can dream, it's not going to happen. But like this is, I really, really liked how she portrayed the character, and she was in a lot of very, very good movies like Civil War, Infinity War, Endgame. Come on, like. So this is one I'll watch. I'll watch this one out. So I think it's definitely time.
Do her eyes glow like that? I'm sorry, with the light hitting them at an angle?
Yeah, it's a
That's
luminous
cool.
eyes.
Yeah, so it's not LED. It's just
Right.
like when the light hits them at an angle, it kind of has
Cool
that effect,
detail.
which I think is quite cool. Like
Yeah.
so yeah. So actually, it might actually be if you've lights in the detail, if even like or your module case, if it's at the right angle, it might catch you. Because even with the Luke lights, like they're at the front top, they're at the top of the cube at the front, and they're angled at a 45-degree angle, so it goes down to 45 to cast shadow. So if it catches right, it might actually naturally light up. For example, I used to have Mysterio, and a lot of people said, "Oh, you have Mysterio lit up," but no, it was just the way that the light caught the globe made it look like it was lit up. So I won't know until if I got it in hand. But so INART have put up for pre-order a bunch of beautiful images of their BVS Henry Cavill Superman 1/6 scale figure. I saw Joao, shout out to Joao, aka Big Bretta, doing his stream there today. He was saying that 1/6 kit, have it for $399 shipped, and I think he has got a code. If you watch his live stream for earlier on, he gives out a code, and I think it's $10 off or something like that. So I mean, I think that price, like the $389 shipped, I think that's better than what a lot of us were anticipating. It's not cheap, but I was anticipating something. I was anticipating a bit more expensive. But look, before we take a look at these photos, I just want to go through. I want to show the image of everything you're getting, what everything comes with, and I'll itemize the different pieces, and then we'll take a good look a bit slower at some of these images because I think they've done a great job at showcasing this. So this is just the image. So obviously you've got the Cam Henry Cavill head sculpt on the left here. You've got the suit, which I think they improved the sizing on this S. This is based on his appearance in Batman vs Superman. He has the dynamic or wired cape here in the middle, then a draped cape. He's got a magnetic base with a hole in it, and then this little piece of stone on the right here can cover that up if you're posing him on the magnetic base standing. But if you want to have him levitating, you're going to have to use this acrylic pole. Comes with a chunk of kryptonite, a kryptonite gas bomb, the kryptonite spear, Then the angry head sculpt, which is actually sculpted as well. The hair is sculpted on both of them, but there's a little rooted S curl on that. And then a few different hands. You've got like fisted hands. You've got kind of open palms. There's some gesturing there and things for holding, I think, possibly the 5 Polaroid. Very strange inclusion. We have 5 Polaroids of like Martha, like, you know, getting tortured or whatever, or even kidnapped that he used to blackmail, Lex Luthor used to blackmail him into fighting Batman. But yeah, so that's everything that he comes. And the cowl, of course, which very strange. It seems to have a hand stuck onto the cowl, which is a bit strange. If you can see that there, anyone else caught that?
Yeah, I love that. I want that as my new avatar.
It's kind of like what they did with
the
the Matrix, with the pills. You know, not them, but Hot Toys did with the Matrix and the red pill and the blue pill. They sculpted it in. Yeah.
They sculpted into what?
The actual hand, like the
oh
pills,
right,
the pills sculpted into the hand. Yeah.
Gotcha. I haven't heard from Dan in a while. Dan, okay, can we just actually really go through the panel and we'll just go yes, no.
Okay.
If you're pre-ordering this or not, I find this would be interesting. I think because I think this is one of the main things people want to talk about here today. I could be wrong though. Ian, is this coming home? Yes or no? No 4.5s. Not yet. Okay, so you're saying is that a no then?
No, don't play this binary nonsense on me.
You're an engineer. It's ones and zeros, man.
Listen, I play in the grey game here. Come on.
Okay. Well, they don't call you Silver Fox for nothing, right? So yeah. So you don't know yet, Joey.
Yes.
See that, Ian? Not bother, Joey. You can come back anytime you want. Phil.
Does anybody want to buy this?
Who sold you that?
Some ropey Irish guy.
Yeah. He might have been a visionary, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So are you actually?
I am.
Right. You actually are going to sell it.
Well,
right.
I don't know if I'm going to sell this yet, but I have PO'd this.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He's staying here for 12 months.
Me?
Jose?
I didn't hear you. Yeah, it's already pre-ordered. Same thing though. I have the Justice League version right there.
Gotcha.
So I'm trying to decide if I'm going to keep him or not. But yes, it's pre-ordered.
Then do you have the battle damaged armored Batman by any chance, Jose?
I don't. That's why I'm indecisive, because I'm like, I don't know if I want to get one, or if maybe INART does tackle the armored Batman, and I want to keep this one to keep it.
Yeah. I think a lot of people, what they're going to do is if they're going to get the INART and they have the Justice League and they have the battle damage, they might actually use that to pose with the battle damage Batman holding, Superman over their shoulder, possibly, but Mike.
Yes.
Oh! I thought you were saying this wasn't Batman, so therefore you weren't gonna.
Listen,
get this. Interesting.
I can talk more about it, but I was restricting myself to a yes. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh right. Okay.
I was following the rules.
By the rules. I like him. See that, Ian? It's not that hard.
What a suck ass.
Shane, can I come on next week?
Trevor.
It looks incredible. But nah, I'm not a big DCU fan, and it's as nice as it looks. No, I'm gonna pass on this one.
I think Dan's a yes. What do you think, Dan?
Yes.
Okay,
hold on, wait a minute.
So,
how come Trevor got off from the teacher pulling him up saying a yes or no? Come on.
Favoritism.
Right. What's up with
favoritism? Right. So look, this is it's up now, and look, guys, I'm going to go through the photos, and I'm just going to listen to you talk. So and feel free to direct me to any particular photos, so you can chime in.
Yeah, if they do a Christopher Reeve, Peter in the chat said if they do a Christopher Reeves, I'm totally in on Christopher Reeve.
Oh.
Yeah, they've talked about doing it. Yeah, they've talked about doing it.
Exactly what I want. See a Christopher Reeves 2-pack in the suit and I'm ripping open the shirt, I'm all in.
I'm
That
glad
would
I
they
did
made
hear
the
rumours
S
that there's
bigger.
people talking about J&D doing Christopher Reeve, aren't they? That's what a few people have sort of suggested, that they'll be the
Interesting.
first figure they'll do would be Christopher Reeve Superman. But I don't know.
So
Possible.
Is that the only non-sculpted part of his hair then? The curl.
That's correct. Yes.
Yep.
That's bizarre.
I'm
See,
glad.
that's
So
the
they
one-
did.
That's the one
You can
bit
go,
I don't
you go.
get on this. I would rather that was sculpted. You do that little bit that's
Yeah.
rooted. It just doesn't make sense to me because nobody else is going to tweak with that, right? So just make it sculpted. For me, it just looks ridiculous.
I think it'll look pretty. It'll look pretty smooth.
I think it blends
when you
well.
get it in
I
your
mean,
hand.
I don't know.
Blends, yeah.
I think it's gonna blend
I
well.
thought they did a good job. Yeah.
It's gotta look
Hey,
perfect.
you know
I've
who?
seen this
who
done
did,
with.
yeah.
Go ahead.
I think you were gonna say what I was about to say, but 3-0 did things like this.
Yeah.
Like a mixed media thing where they had sculpted in the front, and then in the back they had rooted. So
Yeah, I like it when it's done like this. Like I've seen like custom Pulp Fictions with Vincent, like the ponytail is hair, but the hair is sculpted, and it looks fine as long as you match them. I mean, you're never gonna get the perfect sheen, but you got to try and match that sheen. That's the only problem. But here it looks pretty good. I think it's small enough where it's not going to stand out. Like, yeah, I've seen some ones where half the head is hair and half of it is sculpted, and it doesn't look good.
I guess I'm just wondering, what is the aesthetic or technical advantage of doing this? And if there isn't one, why not just sculpt it? You know what I mean? Because now you're just increasing the odds that there might be something off.
I think that's, again, like with hair like that's going to be pretty stiff. It's not going to, again, you're going to have to like really like hit that thing, move it around, break, it's going to bounce back. It's not going to be, I think it's probably just they just did it to do it. You know what I mean? Just to set themselves apart a little bit and have that little bit of, I don't know, something different.
I kind of brought an example of how like this is done. So this is a statue, and they have some rooted in here as well. So this is like rooted in between all of it. So it kind of has these hairs coming out. You could see it.
I've never seen that done. That's interesting.
Yeah, you can see like how I'm trying to get me, but you could see like on the side right here where it looks like it's actual hair, but it's mainly just rooted. But it looks cool because like it'll flare off as if it was not rooted. But I guess this is kind of different because it's not just one piece of hair. So yeah, it looks
I guess
good,
the argument it adds a little realism.
yeah, because you could see it right here, like right here. Makes it looks a little bit more real if you could see it. I don't know if you can, but yeah.
Oh yeah, we can see it because your camera is like crisp.
Oh, it is. Oh,
it's so
like
good.
this is a dumb use of that. Like this is.
Oh yeah, I've seen that one.
This is stupid.
1 second.
Yeah.
What's wrong? What am I
This
missing?
is stupid.
Yeah, it looks
See
good.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you're never gonna match.
Oh, right.
It's
Yeah.
terrible. Like you
yeah,
gotta,
it's
you gotta
blonde,
read that
too.
whole thing.
It's
Yeah,
blonde.
it's completely wrong color. Yeah, it's terrible.
I
This
do
picture
like
is
that
pretty
they're,
stunning.
I do like that they are doing a month pre-order as well.
Me too.
That's really good.
Has
Hey,
anyone else
look at those
noticed,
fingernails,
like, the
though.
detail in the
Yeah.
hands? Yeah,
Wow.
that is like even the creases here on his thumb, like the fingernails, the cuticle, the little bit of nail, and all the details then in his hand, or even like the
Crazy good.
around the suit itself with all the texturing and the chainmail kind of effect. It's just
Yeah.
wow.
Looks amazing. So they did make the S bigger though on his
I think so.
chest.
Yeah.
It looks way better.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
Even the likeness
changed
is
the sculpt,
improved
too.
from the display one that they had at their event. Someone did a comparison shot. There was a comparison shot from that version to this version, and you could see the differences, especially in the eyes.
Oh, yeah. I wonder if
And
they
the
brought
forehead.
in
I think they brought
sculptor.
the forehead line down a little bit too, right?
Yeah, he's got a longer face, I think, a little bit.
Yeah.
Too.
I'm not a Superman fan, but this one just too good to pass up on. It's I want him for my Nightmare Batman. That was like one of my favorite scenes. So.
Yeah, that's what I want him for too.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't wear the black suit in the Nightmare scene.
Yeah.
Even though they came as a 2-pack.
Exactly.
I wanna
Yeah,
see
the
it closer.
this here I can understand why. Isn't this from the movie?
Mhm.
Isn't there a clip in the movie where he picks this up?
Yeah.
Yes, it's the nightmare sequence when he takes off Batman, when he
Yeah.
has Batman tied up, right? And then he takes off his mask in the nightmare sequence in Batman
Yeah.
versus Superman.
So this is obviously to recreate that. That's why they have the hand fixed to the cowl.
Yeah.
Like,
It's a bit,
Yeah.
could
bit
they
too
have done
shiny. though.
that?
It's a bit too shiny.
That'd be cool to recreate that scene though, like get some 1/6 chain, like have Batman chained up, and then
Mhm.
and then
Yeah,
have
somebody
the-
said it should have been dirtier, dustier, or
Mhm.
Yeah.
muddier or whatever too.
Yeah.
But he doesn't look like he's holding it in a natural way. But
Yeah.
I,
To me,
I
it's a little
suppose you
bit
could do this
sketched
with
there.
magnets or something too. But like, it's kind of cool.
Yeah, I
You
think
could
that
just-
would be
whatever.
because then you
It's
wouldn't
a
have
cool
you wouldn't
accessory.
have the-
Yeah, who's gonna
the
really
hands
use this though?
permanently attached.
I don't know.
Yeah, like this isn't something I'd be like. I don't really. I wouldn't really know.
It's a
Like,
cool
there is one
accessory. but-
actually.
Yeah.
I'll show you. There's one shot which I really like. Like it's. Oh god, there's actually a lot of shots of it. That looks. I think the pose could be better, but that looks pretty damn
I
cool.
like how they used a clear pole too instead of a whole black
yeah,
pole.
yeah,
There's a really nice
And I
light
like the
over
base.
the shoulder shot.
yeah. I like the base because it's very simple. It's just a rock with the symbol on it, but I think it's elegant. It's simple. Like it's not a huge diamond base. There you go. Now that's
Beautiful.
That's great.
yeah.
That's some nice futzing
With
with
It's
the,
the
either
body
the cam
proportions
or
that-
the yeah.
It's awesome. I just think when you've
Yeah,
got the
it
Hot
looks like
Toys
you-
one, and you see
Ah,
the
there you
thighs.
go.
Yeah, did anyone? I thought his legs looked skinny when I first saw these because I'm so used to the Hot Toys body.
Yeah, he's jacked, isn't he? Like, yeah. The thing is, I actually quite like the Justice League version with the vibrant blue. He's definitely jacked. Like, he's definitely. It's hard to put his hands down by his side, but like if you have it in a flight pose, it looks pretty damn good. But I think the proportions are better on this one. Even though this is Batman's accessory, I think this is such a cool shot because like just the pop of the blue and the red and the green then and the silver of everything. But someone did point out on the preview video that it's even though it's Batman's accessory, like Superman does use it to kill Doomsday. So yeah, fair enough. That makes sense.
I like
so,
the green popping off
yeah.
his head too.
Yeah,
Mm.
it's
Cool.
It's a cool
Yeah, it
pose.
looks so good. Yeah, this is like, and then I just like those poses where you're gonna incorporate another accessory as well, which is pretty damn cool. TK Magic Shop agreeing that the pole is just super clean. So yeah, this is yeah. I've contacted Lion Rock, so they want to get back to me because otherwise I'm just gonna go with kit. Like, but $389 shipped worldwide. I think that's for what you're getting and the quality is it's expensive, but it's still I think the value is there. Do you think the value is there? Is it overpriced?
It's there. I think it's there.
I think it's a good price.
It's there.
Right.
What were you
After seeing
predicting
those
if I'd
fingernails.
say? What did you say, Joey?
I said after seeing those fingernails, yeah, it's justified.
A lot of people
You
were
had
saying
me at
that
fingernails.
that they thought it was going to be about in the $450 range. So this is
Hmm.
a little under expectations. So I think that's why people are
Yeah.
like kind of relieved. They're like, oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, I was
300
going off the
change.
other, Gandalf and Pennywise and all the other things with rooting, and just I really thought it was going to be like anywhere from $350 to $400. That's what I was expecting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so like I mean, just so there's a panel of 8 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm in. Joey's in, and Phil surprisingly is in. Jose, did you say you were?
Yes.
I'm the only one out.
Yeah, and then Mike, like, you can elaborate now if you want. Like, I'm just wondering, like, are you?
Yeah, so I bought the Daft Toys trench coat for the Nightmare Batman. I love that figure so
Right.
much. I just think that this is like another investment into that sequence for me. And I love the black suit Superman that he came with, but if I can get this and then any other Batman they make, I'll feel complete about it. I don't need a Wonder Woman, so I just love Henry Cavill. I just want this representation. Like I said, the black suit's great, but this is really Superman for me.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to add him to the collection.
I sold my black suit because I feel like it should pop more. Superman should pop more with those colors, and I sold it, and that's why I'm gonna get this one.
Yeah.
And also the price, Shane.
This is the one.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah, this is this is happening. This is definitely happening. Cool, folks. So I think we're going to just get rid of this now for the time being, and kind of brings on to the main kind of focus of the show, really. So we had the idea that maybe talk about the music that matters and kind of like soundtracks from movies and TV shows we like. So earlier on, I kind of reached out to some of the people on the panel and just kind of said, look, share some maybe movie posters of movies with really good soundtracks. It could be original score, it can be themes, soundtracks, or TV shows and stuff. So for the most part, it's basically movies. So I've got a bunch of posters here, and we're just gonna go through and just kind of discuss some of the soundtracks that basically just mean a lot to us, I suppose. Kind of a lot of time the music does make the movies. So and I think this was Mike. I think Mike, I'm ashamed to say it, but I'm going to pull a Mario here. I have not seen The Crow, so it's on the list. I know I've got to get around to it. No, I have not seen it. Have not seen it.
Right.
So
Shane, can a moderator kick off the host?
Pardon?
Can a moderator kick off the host? I'm looking for a button.
No. Yeah, I'm gonna do my homework and I'm gonna watch this for next week. So, Mike, you're up. This was your selection. Tell us why you like the soundtrack here.
Well, I love the soundtrack. I'm going to go backwards a minute and say that. So Pulp Fiction was hugely influential for me, and I think probably a lot of us, especially my age. Quentin being almost 20 years older than me, he was influenced by a different generation of music. The Crow felt like the first film I had seen as a 14-year-old that featured my favorite bands. So, you have soundtracks prior to this, like Easy Rider or The Graduate, that used popular music, but it wasn't my popular music. This was. This was Nine Inch Nails, Rage Against the Machine, Helmet, Rollins Band.
Yeah, Helmet.
Yeah, Pantera, Stone Pilots. Oh, hell yeah. I love Helmet.
I saw Helmet in Dublin. I've actually seen all those bands you just named. Like,
oh, no shit.
Saw Nine Inch Nails like 3 times. That dude, when I saw him, that dude was like 50 and he was still built like a gym instructor.
Yeah.
He definitely wasn't doing heroin anymore, that's for sure. He was bopping around the stage and oh man, so good. Like probably the best gig I was ever at.
He's no
saw Rage Against the Machine when they reformed.
Oh, nice.
Briefly. Helmet, that's a deep cut. I love it. Yeah. They're coming to Dublin in a few months' time, man.
Are they really?
Sorry.
Wow.
No, we can talk about that. Believe me, I love all that stuff. And Helmet's a band I've never seen, but I love Helmet. So again, like that, it was different for me to have a lot of my favorite bands on a soundtrack to a new movie that I thought was just super cool. Brandon Lee's performance and the whole aesthetic of The Crow. It's not the best movie ever made or anything, but I had the long hair at the time. I went as The Crow to Halloween that year. So, it was just influential for me personally. And then
stuff.
Yeah, so I don't know if you wanted to move on to somebody else before I talk about my next one or how you want to structure it. But.
Pulp Fiction was up there. I think a few people chose Pulp Fiction. You were one of them. Was it with someone else? Was it Phil or someone else?
Yeah. Pulp Fiction was one
Yeah.
Well, this one was influential for me for maybe a different reason. It introduced me to artists like Al Green. I wasn't very familiar with his music, and that opened up a whole new avenue of interest for me musically. And I don't have this one in front of me right now to rattle off some artists, but there's just so many great tracks on this and Reservoir Dogs. This was huge for me. And I saw this in the theater in 1994. And with my friends, my friend and his mom. So it was a little awkward at some scenes, but really great.
Yeah. I'd even imagine, yeah. Do you know 1994 was a movie, a year where there was like so many good movies come out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this came out in
It might have.
I'm pretty sure that came out in 1994. Forrest Gump came out in 1994. I think Shawshank Redemption might have come out in 1994 as well.
Yeah, well, Forrest Gump famously beat Pulp Fiction and everyone else for in Best Film and Best Picture. And what
two
competition!
Great movies, but that's funny. And you always imagine that, like, if some movies there might be like 5 absolute bangers going for Best Picture, and some years it's like there's like really one movie which is amazing, the rest are like good.
Yeah.
And you wonder like if, say, the movie that lost out when there was like 5 bangers going for it, whatever, if it just been released a year earlier or later, would it have got it? You know what I mean? It's a
Absolutely.
funny competition.
And The Crow, by the way, if I didn't mention it, came out in '94. So
yeah, good year. So this one I've never seen. I know nothing about this, and this was yours as well. Your soundtrack.
Yeah, this is
this was yours,
beautiful.
Mike, yeah.
It was mine. Yeah, it's just a beautiful film, and the music is incredible. It's Ennio Morricone, who's done a lot of film soundtracks, and I've had this on vinyl for a long time, and I've listened to it countless times. I just think it's beautiful music. So not much more I can say about it other than you should see it.
Good stuff.
And a different performance from it's a classical performance from De Niro, who doesn't typically do period pieces. So it was great to see him doing something different.
Jeremy Irons is kind of like that kind of actor as well, isn't he? Like, does a lot of that kind of stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think this is Ian. You picked this out, Ian. Do you want to take us away? And
yeah, so similar to The Mission, that's Ennio Morricone that done this, and it was written specifically for the movie. So Ennio Morricone, if you look at Hans Zimmer, Ennio, I think Hans had said he was his biggest influence. So when you look at this movie, it was constructed for the movie. So I know one of the assistant directors of this movie, Fabrizio Gianni, he stays only 2 minutes away from me.
Wow.
So I've learned a lot about this. He's married to his wife was a former model, and she's now like a very senior QC in the legal world. But yeah, this whole thing's just reeked with memories from my child. Well, obviously watching it not when it first came out, but from my mum and dad. But the music is, even constructed it that there was an instrument per character. So like Clint Eastwood on this, it was like the flute. So the way he built things in complemented how Sergio Leone worked. So this is something different for me in terms of the list. It was very much written for the movie. The iconic theme tune. Honestly, it's just awesome. It's just cool. And I think the music really makes it.
Yeah, and I think there's a few Tarantino movies on this list, but I suppose a lot of time he almost builds his scenes around certain songs and stuff like that. Like, so this is, yeah. This was yours as well, I think.
Yeah, from memory, what he said was for each of his movies, he used to go through his vinyl record and pick songs for his movies. I'm pretty certain I heard a interview with him on that. For me, just at the start, Little Green Bag, when they're walking along the street, the George Baker selection, it's just cool. And then, ultimately my favourite was Michael Marsden.
Yeah.
When they're in the building and he improvised on that when the tune came on, when he when he tortured the police officer, cut off his ear. So it was that improvisation as well. It was just, the music is just spot on for this movie. Those couple of tracks just stand out for me.
And so cool how they built it.
Shot. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I love the way it's shot. That movie is more or less just all in the warehouse, like.
Yeah.
So.
But they built the soundtrack into the story because it was K. Billy's Super Sounds of the 70s that was playing that weekend for them, and they were talking about it in the diner scene. And then you hear all the songs that K. Billy plays throughout the film, which is really cool.
Yeah.
And if you recall at the start of the movie, they're dissecting like a virgin.
Yeah.
And there's some other songs that they dissect. So everything was music related. So it was one of the reasons I picked this for this. It was just the music, the score's so instrumental in this movie for me.
Like, I got... Okay, I know Ahsoka and this are two very different things, but They had a conversation about tipping, and I was on the edge of my seat. I was like,
Yes.
this is mind blowing. Like, do I need to take notes if I go to America on this? Like, will I be shunned if I don't tip? And, I think that's where I learned a lot about tipping, like, before I went over to the States or whatever. But, like, it was just really engaging dialogue. So, thanks for that. This is your one as well. I think a few people, Dan mentioned this, and I think you mentioned it as well, Ian. Would this be correct? Or do you want to take this one, Dan, or do you mind, Ian? Yeah.
Yeah, so this is one from me, and then obviously being Scottish, for me this is one of the best soundtracks on any movie, and it's so fitting with the story. I love it. Iggy, I think it reinvigorated Iggy Pop's career when this came out. Lust for Life. So at the start, it is so fitting for them getting chased along Edinburgh. I love that. And then Born Slippy at the end. I mean, there's a few, rave tracks, new wave when they're in the club. It's just so fitting that overall, I've got this in vinyl. When you listen to it through, you don't need to watch the movie. It is a banging soundtrack. For me, I would probably say this is the best soundtrack in any movie. For me personally, I love it.
Good stuff. Thanks for sharing some great picks there. There's such a variety as well. I think myself and you selected the same thing. I think this, you can go with this one, Phil, because I kind of, when you chose this as well, I made a change, but I'm in complete agreement. So do you want to give us a chat about this? Or
yeah, sure. So this is probably the only movie soundtrack album I ever bought, and I still have it as a playlist on my phone today. When Top Gun Maverick came out, me and a couple of mates from work, we went to watch it, and my friend had already seen it, and I was a bit dubious about going to see it because I thought there's no way. Well, nostalgia, isn't it? And I thought, is it going to ruin it for me? And we sat there, and then that screen comes up with Maverick 12A or whatever it was, and my mate is staring at my face before the beginning of the film. And then I think it's that Harold Faltermeyer Top Gun theme kicks it off. And that was it. I mean, it's not very often music makes my hair stand on end, apart from when Wales sing the national anthem in the rugby, and when this starts. And
sorry, I'm just chiming back to my little dig at Wales earlier.
I know, I'm saying, no comment. No comment.
In your defense, the Irish language is gibberish too. Like if you
Gaelic,
seen,
Gaelic,
yeah, exactly. But no one in Ireland calls it Gaelic. It's just we call it Irish. But anywhere outside of Ireland, they call it Gaelic. But like, yeah. It's you see it written down, and you wonder like, why are those letters randomly thrown together? It's definitely a tough one. But
it's like Mike said, it introduced you to other artists. I mean, Otis Redding. I now love Otis Redding because of Sitting on the Dock of the Bay from this. In fact, the only song I'm probably not keen on was the one that Take My Breath Away. Not really. Not really my thing.
It's really funny, like, because they overuse it in the movie to the point where it's nearly a meme. Like the two main characters look each other googly eyed and just hear boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
Funny story about that. When myself and Meg, I'd never got to see this movie, the original, in the cinema, and I loved it since I was a kid, cheese and all. But like 2 or 3 weeks ago, the local cinema were doing this back to the 80s thing, and they were showing it. So myself and Megan went to see it. I've seen these films a bunch of times. We're sitting there, right? And there's a family that have come to watch it. So there's like 3 kids. They can't be any more than 10. It was like, I said it was like an 8-year-old, a 9-year-old, 10-year-old. They were sitting in front of what had to be the mother, the father, an aunt, and a granny. She was about 80. They obviously forgot about the sexy scene. So myself and Megan are sitting there, and it's very obvious there's kids here, and they're having that scene where they fight on the street, and so one says, "I can't let anyone know that I've fallen for you," and then you hear boom, 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 and myself and Megan look at each other. We're trying to hold in the laughter, and we look down. The 3 kids are like this. because it's a very raunchy scene, and then the granny just starts losing her shit laughing because she realizes we've forgotten about this scene. But it was quite funny. But I do like the soundtrack. It's a theme tune though. It's just it hits me every time.
Every time.
It's a cool song. You know what I mean? It's just definitely brings you back to watching this. So
it's a brilliant gym soundtrack as well.
Oh yeah.
When I used to go to the gym, but slamming on, even playing with the boys, everything about that movie is
it's great.
There's a lot of homoerotic scenes in this in that. Let's be honest, in that first Top Gun movie. I'm convinced that Maverick and Iceman are actually in love, to be honest. But what a movie. And the funny thing is, Maverick is there's very little cheese in it. There's a few bits, but it's not the same. It's not on the cheese level. It's a proper movie. I love that. But
Shane, I just want to say real quick, you mentioned theme, and this is like a secondary topic you could also do is themes, because I would love to say Halloween, but I can't list it as one of the best soundtracks, but one of the best themes of all time. So just a separate. You know what I mean?
You see, I wasn't clear on that really. I wasn't clear if we were talking about original scores, themes, or soundtracks. So I just said music in general. Right. So really quickly, we have a man in the chat who's determined to pay my mortgage. I really do appreciate it. X-Men Supreme, thank you very much. Channel member for the $5 super chat. I think though we can all agree that the title track from Smallville gives everybody goosebumps. I can't remember that. I remember watching it when I was a teen, but
it's the Somebody Save Me intro.
Oh, right. Is that it? Yeah. No, it's coming back to me now. Yeah. Absolutely. Thank you very much for the $5 super chat. I really do appreciate it. So, The Lion King, whose pick was this?
Me. Again.
Yeah, I'm actually going to see The Lion King, I believe.
I'd love to see Dublin.
Nice. Yeah, it's something I really want to see. Megan's big into musicals, so I do like seeing them. So, this is your selection.
Yeah, so I got a Welsh family, but I think I mentioned to you in a few messages on the weekend, Shane, I was born in South Africa. When we came back...
So it wasn't a great weekend for you?
No, not really.
What a game of rugby, though.
Fantastic. Best game of rugby I've seen in a long time. But my mum brought a lot of sort of Zulu albums, tribal tracks and all the rest of it back with her. So subconsciously, I don't really think it meant anything to me until The Lion King came out. And I'm not talking about the Elton John version of the songs. It's the actual in-movie Can You Feel the Love Tonight, Circle of Life. I don't know. It just resonates with me somehow. Same as the old Ladysmith, Black Mombasa. I don't know if anybody knows Ladysmith. But it's just that music, I don't know, gets me every time. Pulls on the heartstrings.
Yeah, good stuff.
Good
stuff. I can see why.
I'll add that I wanted to pick this one too, but I thought someone else did, and someone did. And this is such a great piece by Hans Zimmer. I think I consider him like a modern day Mozart in terms of the stuff that he does. You just look at his resume and everything he's done; it's like incredible. And those pieces specifically, those emotional beats, they hit you.
100%.
Because you can kind of like, I was kind of thinking, okay, well, I was gonna say something from The Dark Knight, but then I was like, okay, think of all the Hans Zimmer. I did pick a Hans Zimmer eventually, but I didn't pick The Dark Knight because I do think there's better theme songs and scores that he's done. But he like tours with a massive orchestra band.
Yeah, it's incredible.
I saw him in Dublin in 2017. It was Megan's brother had tickets and couldn't go. Just gave the 2 tickets to me, and we saw it like in Dublin. It was amazing. He played a bunch of different instruments, and he was like he was loving it.
Runs around the
stage.
Guitar.
Next thing is man, and he awesome. Like really good. But
and what's great about him too is that that's me.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah.
If anyone else,
what were you saying, Jose?
No, I was saying that even with the movies that are not so great, he still puts out banger soundtracks for them. Like he did The Amazing Spider-Man, he did Dark Phoenix, he did like a few but you listen to the scores, just the scores of those movies, and they're great. The movies,
Absolutely,
it's another conversation, but they're bangers.
And this was your
I
selection,
picked.
I think, wasn't it?
Yes, this is Refn film. I actually saw this kind of young, kind of early teens, I think. I liked it, but I didn't really get it. And then I put it on again just one day, and I sat with it, and I felt it was such. It had such a different impact on me. And Refn is known for doing these like neo-noir like tech musical, and I feel like that's kind of what I really like. I also mentioned Blade Runner, right? And like the neo-noir, and what's really interesting about this one, it's not only the score by Cliff Martinez, but it also like the soundtrack music that they're using throughout the film, because he's kind of like a mute, right? Like he doesn't really talk much, and when he talks he just has very little to say. He doesn't even have a name, right? He's just the driver. And what's really interesting is that the music choices that they pick, if you listen to the songs, they're actually referencing what's happening in the moment, which is incredible. Like they actually found songs that resonated with the specific moments in the scenes, right? Like there's a scene where he's driving and he feels like he's doing something for the woman that he found at the supermarket that needed help, and it's called A Real Hero, and it's playing throughout him and spending time with her and her son, and the lyrics in that, if you listen to the lyrics, they play on what's happening and what the guy is feeling in that particular moment. I think that's what resonates with me. It's such a
it's very
interesting
clever
movie. Yeah.
And it's hard to believe that it's the same guy who played Ken, because the characters couldn't be further apart, but he nails both of them, But thanks for that, Jose. So I think this was yours as well. So
yes.
I think Mike said he didn't want to pick it, but I would have any music really. But go on.
No,
you can work away on this 1978.
you can touch on it too, and in terms of the apprentice, I brought out Michael right now just for that specific reason. Because just that musical theme, it's so iconic. It's like you just hear it and and John Carpenter, like, not only did he direct, but he did the score for this. You know what I mean? And so he did the music, the didin didin didin. You know what I mean? So it's like he did that, and he still actually came back and did the score for like the new trilogy.
Yeah,
so,
which is great too.
So even if you don't like the new trilogy, the music is stellar. Like John Carpenter knocks it out of the park.
Yes, and the Thing as well. But also, you touched on it, the simplicity. It's like the simplicity of Jaws. That theme. It's sometimes less is more, and this is a perfect example of it. There you go. Oh, where's mine? Mine's in the garage. I gotta get it.
That's awesome. Which one? Which version is that? Dan?
That's 18. That's
2018.
Yeah.
Nice.
I've got the 2000. That's the 2018, but it's been it's the TOTS one, but it's been rehauled.
Oh, nice.
Proper. Yeah. It's
That's
awesome.
beautiful. Yeah.
Excellent stuff. So actually we're going to have to do something for Halloween when that comes up. I think Halloween's a Tuesday, so hopefully we'll do the show on the Monday. We'll do something themed. Who picked Purple Rain?
That'd be me again.
Okay, yeah, go for it.
Yeah, so
it's been referenced a bunch of times in the.
I've seen
Mario.
Mario mention it. Yeah, I actually knew of the song before I knew of the movie. I quite like Prince in general. I must admit, I wasn't a fan of the movie. I mean, don't wish to upset anybody out there, but the soundtrack is phenomenal. I think When Doves Cry was another song from the movie, but it just, I know this is going to sound soppy now, but it reminds me of my wife. I just love the song. Again, it's one of those that's on repeat on my playlists.
Nothing soppy about that, man. You married her at the end of the day. I presume you kind of like her a bit, so like.
Well, she puts up with all. That. She puts up with all this lot. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. No, this is it. This is
Isn't
it.
enough.
That's nothing soppy about that. So this is and does she like this soundtrack as well?
She does. Yeah. I don't, well, to be honest, I don't think she'd even, because she's a little bit younger than I am, and I don't think she'd heard of Prince until I played her this, and then obviously I expressed why it reminds me of her and so on and so forth. So yeah, she loves it.
Yeah, my girlfriend's a bit younger than me as well. Like, I'm not going to give into details, but when Chris Cornell died, she said "who," and I'm not sure what hurt more. Yeah, you know, it was a dark day, you know. So yeah, but I
get that with my wife all the time. Here, man, my wife, same thing.
Yeah. So no, thanks very much for sharing that. So there's a lot of like, there's so much we could nearly do a series, and this has to be Dan's.
Yeah. Well, this came out in '75. This is probably one of John Williams' first sort of well-known soundtracks. But like the guys were saying, it's a part of music that you can listen to, and it plays the character out, if you know what I mean. I mean, the shark didn't work most of the time during the filming, so they used the music and the point of view of the shark to basically, that's what made the film, to be honest. I think if they'd shown the shark early, you know, with the model, the animatronics or whatever it is, you know, I think it wouldn't have got the impact that we all know now with Jaws. I mean, it's a part of not just the theme, but the whole. If you watch, I mean, I've seen the film God knows how many times, and it's just a masterpiece of a soundtrack from the original bit when you get the original sort of the sort of sound to the really peaceful, serene last piece of music when they're kicking into shore, which I absolutely love. I think to be honest, I think it's from Jaws and you know, we went on a run with Jaws, Raiders, Star Wars, Empire, Superman, you know, all in a matter of 5 years is unbelievable, really. That's if you think about it. And actually Jaws 2 is a really good soundtrack from him as well. That's up there, but for Jaws, for me, is just a masterpiece of cinema soundtracks, movie, you know, scores, you know.
This should be on every ice cream man's jingle on his way into the street.
That's good. That's good.
Much more appealing.
That's very good. The story goes that apparently, like, is John Williams and met with Spielberg, and he goes, you know, I've got something to show you. You know, I have the soundtrack here, and just goes to the piano and just goes like, dun dun. That's it. And Spielberg's like, what? And that was it. It was just the notes over and over again. That's a story I want to be true. I don't know if it's true, but X-Men Supreme saying X-Men the animated series. That's
a good one.
You gotta say, Dave's on fire tonight. He made a few banger comments there, but yeah, absolutely.
Hey, I thought it was all movies, but if it's TV shows, it's a whole different ball game.
I think we should do TV shows next week. Yeah.
Look, this could be a channel, you know, this could be just a channel. I put this in because I think people just went, no, we're not going to put that in. Everyone else will put that in. Come on, like Star Wars wouldn't be Star Wars without, this is not just Empire Strikes Back, the original trilogy, the even like the Ahsoka, some of the soundtrack and the music in Ahsoka is fantastic. The Mandalorian's soundtrack, the Luke theme at the end of season 2 of Mandalorian. Come on, like, you know, just have to give the nod there. A few people mentioned this. Whoever wants to chime in this, I just say one thing. I also love this, and even Blade Runner 2049. I just thought that
incredible
soundtrack was amazing as well.
And that was Hans Zimmer too.
It kind of
Zimmer. Yeah. This is Vangelis,
and it's
right?
like it's kind of like
on this one.
long, drawn out.
This is for me like
resonances or something, like it's like really
massive
drawn out
influence
notes.
on me. This
it's
is
like a
just
landscape
perfect electronic. Well, I make music and I'm a DJ as well and things like that. And this for me, I'm into melodic sort of house music and stuff like this. And this is like you could put this on and it's just a beautiful piece of work. You can, you know, I've listened to this countless times where, you know, you don't even watch the movie. You just can shut your eyes. I mean, I've been to Ibiza and heard some of these tracks being played for sunsets and things like that. You know, it's just a beautiful piece of music.
perfect
I
electronic
just-
noir music, man.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah,
What it is.
It's amazing. Both of them, I thought they were just really good. It actually kind of reminds me in parts. So like I listen to like a lot of instrumental music, and there's a band called Godspeed You Black Emperor, and they're like this instrumental band. They start off, it could be like a cello intro for like 10 minutes, and it builds up and builds up and builds up, and then next thing the distortion kicks in. And it's insane. Like, but it's not an electronic. It is a bit more kind of like the organic, guitars and stuff like that. But it's just they're like landscapes of music.
creates
I don't know. It's hard to describe.
Such an atmosphere. The music in this film.
Yeah, atmosphere.
It's like
that's
when
the
he's
word,
it's just so powerful. It's like when he's roaming around, LA, right, from 2020, what was it, 2019, right, from the future, and he's roaming. He's not even talking. We're seeing him fly, and the music is taking control and of your emotions, and you're feeling it. It's powerful, man. Like, even the scene where the love theme is so beautiful, right? The love theme when he's with Rachel in her apartment. It's his apartment, I think. His apartment, and he's just laying on the bed, and she's asking him all these questions, and he doesn't even respond, and just the music is playing. So powerful.
It really didn't sound like anything that you'd heard before. Before this movie, really. It was really, really.
But you take away that music out from the movie, and it's just not the same. Like,
yeah,
it's just,
and that's one of the things.
Any movie, but like,
absolutely. In my film class, I was telling you about, they showed us scenes. Is like he's like, remove the Imperial March from the Darth Vader scene, and you see how much weight that song carries with that scene.
Yeah,
he's like, you remove those certain elements from the film, and suddenly it just becomes completely different. The vibe we in the class they started they put temp tracks. They showed early cuts of the film that had different music on it, and you see how it's like, oh, this feels weird, this feels different, it doesn't feel the same weight of the music that we ended up with, because the song is so ingrained in our brains, right, of that specific scene. And then you watch it with a different like a different song or different score, and you're like, what? This doesn't have the same weight.
Changed
2001. You remind me.
Do you remember?
2001 was a classic example of where.
Yeah.
So those are Kubrick's temp tracks. They were never meant to be the soundtrack.
Yep.
But they just couldn't find anything that fit more perfectly.
Yeah.
Oh, man, Rocky.
This is mine.
Yeah.
This is a perfect gym soundtrack. Absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, it's weird because I love Rocky 3 is actually my favorite Rocky film, but this one is. I remember seeing this as a kid, and it's just got so much nostalgia and it's basically an MTV video. This movie, isn't it? Really, it is. It's montage after montage. No Easy Way Out when he's driving in the car, which is just flashbacks, which I love.
Hearts on Fire.
Hearts on Fire. Yeah, I mean, they didn't
so
do
good.
the Gonna Fly Now. It was Vince. I can't remember his name. The training montage. It's all electronic against Drago, and it's just. I mean, and this is my other one as well, which is, I don't know if you've seen this film before. Breakdance. It was called 1984.
No,
but
never.
Have you not seen it? Well, basically,
no.
It's not a great film. Well, actually, do you know what it is? It's just cheesy. But it introduces Ice-T. He's in it. Shaka Khan Ain't No Bodies. It's just a great 80s soundtrack. Yeah, thank you, Mario. Yeah, it's one of my favorite sort of go-to 80s films, and I listened to this over and over again when I was a kid, and I still listen to it now. I mean, it's just Ozone, Turbo, Kelly, and all that. I mean, if you can watch it, it's just got so much nostalgia. I mean, Jean-Claude Van Damme's in it, dancing on what's it, Hollywood? What's the boulevard? Venice Beach. Like dancing there, they're all on the mats and all that doing it. He's doing some crazy dancing in a leotard. It's just funny. It's just 80s, 1984. Yeah.
Trevor, you're muted.
You're muted, I think, Trevor.
Breaking into Electric Boogaloo. That is good.
The soundtrack's good. The film is dreadful. The soundtrack is really good for that. Really, really good. But the film, I mean, it's canon, wasn't it? I don't know if you've seen the documentary. It's quite funny if you watch that. It's quite a thing. But yeah, there were my three.
Good stuff. Thanks for sharing. The look, I picked Top Gun. Then when Phil picked it, I replaced it with this because I think they actually updated. I think they re-recorded the main theme for this. It doesn't sound the exact same when I'm listening to it. Also, there's some fantastic music in Maverick, particularly the bit where he's in Dark Star and he's doing the test flight and he's talking to Goose. The soundtrack is just amazing. Or the scene when he shows up and he shows that the mission can be done and stuff like that. It's just some of the music in it is just it just elevates the scenes. This one was always going to be on the list. If I didn't put it on, someone else would. I think 2 or 3 people selected it. Like, again, just there's something about this sound. It sounded futuristic. It sounded apparently that was supposed to kind of sound like I don't know, like a rhythmic robotic heart or something like that. But it's just I just love the that's just every time gets me every time. I don't know whether it's Member Berries or whatever. It's just bloody cool song.
I hear that for anybody familiar with the New York subway. I hear that sound almost all the time in the subway system because it just happens to perfectly go over the whatever it's hitting. It's like dun, 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 dun. And I'm just like, oh my god.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
This is also one that has the love theme, and it's like the slow melody, right? And it's
absolutely. There's a lot of heart in this. There's a lot of heart in this. It's not just cold, calculated science fiction. I think that's the kind of cool thing about it. There's the robotic kind of almost android, clinical part to the song, the beat. And then there's that, like, the strings or whatever it is, that emotional part. So I think that is just perfect. Yeah, it's just so good.
One interesting thing I'll share with you, Shane. I know you said you never saw Dark Fate, but they reuse the theme because they always reuse the theme for all the sequels.
I went and rewatched it. I went and watched it.
You did?
Yeah. After I it was the weekend after I met Linda Hamilton, and I watched it, and yeah, there's still only 2 movies in my eyes. There's 1 and 2. I compartmentalize, man.
No. But regardless of that fact, though, that they reuse that score and they add like elements because it takes place in Mexico, so they add like the guitar playing and they add like kind of like a little different vibe. Like it seems it's different, but it's good. Mm-hmm. Regardless of the movie. The movie. I don't want to go off on a complete tangent. I'll say 2 things. The best bit of the movie is the very start when you see those T-800s come out of the sea. That was awesome. I really liked that. Just the opening shot, that was pretty damn cool because it could have fit into Terminator 2 and just it looked... If you haven't seen it, the opening scene is very good. However, what they did within the first 10 minutes of the movie completely undoes the whole point of Terminator 2. So I was just new. Cornfields, if you haven't, this is another Hans Zimmer. If I was going to put something Dark Knight in here, but I said, you know what, it's too obvious, and I was thinking about Inception, and eventually I was like, no, Cornfields. If you haven't seen this movie, just you probably heard the soundtrack, you probably heard this particular track. Just Google Hans Zimmer Interstellar Cornfields, just absolutely beautiful. But Man of Steel, I just kind of give a nod to that. Just the piano bit, really subtle, beautiful piano bits, just amazing. Again, I just threw this in because I thought this was going to be one that was so obvious that people wouldn't mention. Just like there's an English comedian. He tells a story, kind of with this theme tune. It's just really funny how he does it. Like he kind of like tells a story while singing this. I'll get the clip, but and yeah, come on, of course. So Trevor, you have some stuff lined up to share, I believe. So you can
down there
share.
So I mean, Train Spotting and Pulp Fiction probably Train Spotting for Rock and the Crow is what I was thinking. But this was kind of a not a well-known movie, but it's kind of about the whole Seattle grunge movement and kids living in that Pacific Northwest area. And it's the Smashing Pumpkins, it's Alice in Chains, it's Pearl Jam, Soundgarden.
You're speaking my language. I've seen the Pumpkins once.
Heart doing Battle of Evermore, which is probably, I gotta say, almost probably better than the Led Zeppelin version. The Battle of Evermore is amazing. Chris Cornell, the aforementioned Chris Cornell. So it's loaded with that type of grunge, early grunge stuff too. And these guys were all just like sort of coming up at the time too. It wasn't even like really, they weren't huge, Pearl Jam yet. So
I think Mudhoney is Mudhoney on the soundtrack.
Mudhoney is, and I think there's a Hendrix song. Screaming Trees.
Screaming Trees.
Yep.
Mark Lanigan.
It's incredible.
Alice in Chains is in the movie.
That's true. Alice in Chains is in the movie. That's right. That's true. In fact, I think there's a couple other people that are in the movie, aren't there?
The Pearl Jam is in the movie as well.
Yeah. All those guys they
play his friends.
Yep. So it's amazing.
I never got to see Soundgarden, but I got to see Audio Slave live once or twice.
Nice.
It's not Soundgarden.
I saw Soundgarden in a very small place, man. It was fantastic.
So did I.
God,
I saw them at
so
Borgata in
jealous.
Atlantic City with
early on too. It was like great. Yeah. It was which album was it? Loud Love, I think.
Yeah. I think Bad Motor Finger is my
Bad Motor
favorite
Fingers.
One.
Amazing.
Yeah. Hey, this plays right into our earlier theme here.
Yes.
I mean, all you got to do is start playing bagpipes, and I'm there, man. It's like you could lure me into a swamp, man, just playing bagpipes. So
you own a few Korn albums, do you?
I do have a couple Korn albums, but yeah, it's more this kind of stuff. Like I can put this on anytime, and I'm in it, man. And anytime this movie's on, I got to stop and I'll watch it, no matter what point it is in the movie. I love this movie so much; it's so incredible.
Isn't that the sign of a great movie?
Yeah,
and the same way is a sign of a great album. Like I could put on, no matter what mood I'm in, I can put on Smashing Pumpkins' Siamese Dream or the first Rage Against the Machine album, or I know the Queens of Stone Age Rated R. Doesn't matter where I am, doesn't matter what my mood in, always delivers.
Oh yeah.
But it's like some movies when they're on TV, you just happen, even if you own the movie and it comes on, like Braveheart, you'll watch it, it will deliver. Fight Club, you'll watch it, it will deliver. Whatever it is, and this is definitely one of those movies that it's
definitely. Shane, I just saw Smashing Pumpkins like 3 weeks ago. They still got it.
Yeah,
man. Yeah. Original lineup minus Darcy, but yeah, they were great.
Yeah, that's so. James Yee has back, is he?
James Yee has back. I actually sold him a scarf years ago,
right?
And no one knew who he was, and he came to the register, and I go, James. Love you, man. You're a huge inspiration. he's like, oh, thanks so much. Like, I don't think he gets recognized that much, but he's a car hero of mine, so it was cool.
That's bloody cool. And come here, is it Melissa Off the Mar playing bass?
She has played with them before, but she's not on bass with them now. I forget who's playing with them now. It's a guy. But Jimmy Chamberlain is on drums again, so really good.
He's an absolute, yeah. Awesome. That's very cool. Do you have more, Trevor?
So with Smashing Pumpkins with Darcy, they were fighting on stage, opening up Pearl Jam, and then the Red Hot Chili Peppers were the headliners.
Oh, dude, I know that poster. That's amazing. You saw that?
Oh, yeah, it was an incredible show.
Wow.
The one more I got. This is incredible. I love this movie. And then I think what I think is not only the best film trilogy ever made, in my opinion, the best soundtrack ever recorded for any trilogy of films. Anyway, this thing is an amazing. Like there's a YouTube channel called Listening In. If you like even any of these soundtracks, like Star Wars, he'll break down the themes, and he's really like breaks them down musically, and it's amazing, man. Like just the way these things are composed. I just watched a Howard Shore video about him making the songs and writing them and having like the preview things done, and it's incredible, man. But there's so many themes in this film, and they're all just like perfect for where the movie goes, and it's just like it's one of the things like Star Wars. This movie was great, but it wouldn't have been nearly as good without the music in it. It's incredible soundtrack.
Excellent stuff. Thanks very much for sharing. Appreciate that. So I think everyone's had a turn apart from Collector Joey. Do you want to just like run through any particular soundtracks that you particularly liked or resonated with you?
So I'm not like big on listening to like the sounds and everything. That's just like not like whenever I'm watching a movie, I'm not like paying attention to that really. But there's one movie that really got me listening to these sounds and things like that, and I'm surprised it wasn't mentioned in any of this in anybody's things, but it was Joker. Joker was really good with their soundtrack.
That is a
Great call.
soundtrack. Yeah, that is
Great call.
And that really like made me feel the movie, I guess you could say, and it really put the movie into a different realm for me, and that's why I really like that movie. But that's all I got to say for that one.
That's it's such a dark movie, and it is it's a depressing movie. It's not like the way. That's like a movie I gotta be in the mood for. You know what I mean? Gotta be tuned in. It's an awesome movie. It's a piece of art, but it's heavy, and I gotta be in the mood for it. But like the soundtrack is so dark, and it's almost like I don't know. It's almost like creaky doors and stuff. The type of music you can hear, it's unhinging. And then when that really upbeat song kicks in when he's walking down the stairs, it's just so good. Like, and I'm pretty sure they used that in the Full Monty. Ian. I'm pretty sure they used that same song in the Full Monty. It was a very different film, like but
I just thought thought of one like of while we're doing it is the Batman has a good one as well. That's a really
yeah.
And actually, Jose got me thinking about that too, because all of the songs have kind of clever names to them, and they're all named after the scene or referencing the scenes they're in. So like you can't fight City Halloween, things like that, like little puns like that.
Yeah, I love
That's cool. Yeah. Folks, thank you very much for all the panel members for joining. That was a long one. We went on a bit more than kind of anticipated, but there was lots of news, Hot Toys, INART, and of course those we could have talked all day in those soundtracks. And we've only scratched the surface on this, and maybe we revisit it or something like that. But like, thank you to everyone. Thank you to anyone who's taken the time to watch the video, whether you're watching the replay or you're watching live. Thank you to anyone who's contributed in super chats. Thank you to all the troopers and the commanders and everything. Very much appreciated. So does anyone else want to plug something, or are we good to finish?
Cool.
Oh, good.
Cool. All right, folks. Make sure you subscribe to all these people if they have channels. I've got to update my upload default settings so I can include all these links and stuff like that in there. But subscribe to everyone. And we are out of here. I just want to make sure that I get rid of this banner and everything. So we'll be out of here in a few seconds now. Once amateur hour is finished. Okay, I'm going to get my crap together here. I love the way Joey is still waving and holding it down for me. And okay, we're out of here now. One more time.